I am a bloodthirsty warlord determined to take over the world, one continent at a time. To achieve this, I will construct glorious engines of war.
Oh my gosh. What have I done?
To complete 100%, I'll have to defeat all 54 missions without taking any damage. I'll have to collect all 23 strange fragments by completing insane challenges. And I'll of course need to mop up all 43 Steam achievements. Welcome to 100% of Besiege.
Yeah, I gotta start on Ypsilon. Alright, let's destroy! This game looks sick, dude. Alright, Zone 1, Southern Cottage. Add 2 wheels. Don't mind if I do.
The destruction of Queen Winfrith's continent, known as Ypsilon, began with the friendly flattening of a cottage as I pressed spacebar to start the level and drove my wonderful creation straight at the peasant's home.
Let's go. Dude, what is going on?
There was a lot to take in with damage and time taken stats up top, but I didn't want to overthink, so I proceeded into the next conquest, where a mill was my target.
Do I have like limited resources or? No, I don't think so.
I did not have limited resources. The only limitation was the space in which I could build, designated by the dash line cube you can see there.
Come on, I got a good plan here.
As you can see, I found some spikes for the front of my little car, and I next shoved some logs on top, to which I attached some massive drill thingos.
Surely this is amazing. Go. Go, big fella. Go, big fella. No, that ain't it. Stop. Alright, try again.
It appeared I needed to be more conscious of the fact that physics is a thing. My contraption was much too front heavy, so I added some weight at the back. But then I got distracted fiddling with other options, adding large wheels, and I was very excited when I saw bombs were available to use.
Well, that did something. Found the achievement for setting myself on fire. That's great.
I think my plan was going backwards. That first drill contraption I had was glorious.
Will this do it? Oh, crap. Oh, crap. No. No, that's not it. Yeah, they spin and they're interfering with the wheel.
I reverted back to my spiky car, and with the bigger wheels, I hoped I could get up the ledge.
I can't really steer, can I? I can only go forward and back with these types of wheels. Oh, it worked. I just needed more speed.
My conquest of Ypsilon was progressing nicely, and I next waylaid some caravans in the woods, where I was encouraged to put cannons on top of my machine.
How do I shoot?
Okay, sick.
Steering hinges.
Queen Winfrith's forces were beginning to respond to my invasion, as they'd lined this section of the woods with a bunch of bombs. Thankfully, the game taught me how to add steering hinges to my vehicle, so I was going to be able to navigate the danger with ease.
Steering is kind of confusing.
What? Oh! That sheep got exploded, dude.
Alright, I think I want to go around. Dude, are these sheep trying to attack me? What's going on?
I don't know if I set the steering hinges up wrong or what, but the steering certainly was not intuitive, so I was bumbling around for quite a while. I shot my cannons for some reason and learned an important rule.
Oh, you can only shoot once from the cannons?
That makes sense, I guess.
Dude, the steering is so weird. I'm so confused. Come on, come on. Easy. Easy.
And so I navigated those bombs by not navigating them at all, but rather by going the long way round.
Oh, they're shooting at me.
This little town had some fortification, but a cannonball seemed to do the trick. Although I'm not sure driving straight into the fire with my wooden vehicle was wise.
Oh. I shouldn't have driven through the fire? Is that what you're saying?
Next time round, I waited for the fires to go out before driving forward.
Oh no, I'm stuck on a flaming rock. Is there a list of the people that I killed at the bottom? Including Jeffrey, Percival, Humphrey, Luther, and Drake?
I eventually decided it was probably easy to just go around the rubble of the wall, and I was finally able to approach the targets of this mission. The cottage and the windmill round back. The cottage was no problem to just run over, but I couldn't quite get up the ledge to destroy the windmill.
Maybe I should customize my contraptions a little bit more. Is there someone's body rolling around over there? Dang it, I keep pressing spacebar accidentally.
Spacebar starts or stops the campaign.
How the heck?
But my muscle memory from every game ever was telling me that spacebar would help me jump or maneuver or something, so sometimes I just instinctively pressed it. And perhaps it would have been smarter to revise my machine's design, but I finally managed to knock over both buildings, so this build was good enough after all. I guess this continent had been caught unaware by my ruthless invasion, but now they'd mustered a defense.
Kill 70% of everybody. I'm gonna need more firepower.
And the game had officially stopped holding my hand. I'd been shown the basics, and now I had to come up with my own solution. My instinct was to look over my weaponry options, but there are also plenty of building, ground vehicle, and flying vehicle options, as well as fancy doodads and even automation you can play around with. I got into all of that later, but for now I was still fairly clueless. I managed to add some crossbows, which I aimed to the side, and these shared the same keybind with the cannons.
Put some spikes in the back as well. Ready? Oh crap.
My cannons did not achieve much, but simply driving at the enemy with my spiky car seemed kind of effective. I also shot my crossbows a bunch of times, as they had a bit of ammo to work with.
Oh my gosh. Shoot the bolts. Are the bolts hitting people? I don't know. I've lost the back. The front's still going though.
That red bar at the bottom shows my progress. I killed more than half of what I needed, so that was decent, I guess, but I needed to upgrade the machine some more.
Shrapnel cannon. Oh, let's try shrapnel cannon instead.
The shrapnel cannon did seem to be better than the normal cannons against these foes, but with just one blast available, it wasn't that much help. I reverted to ramming with spikes again.
Oh, I ran into a bomb. Let's try the flamethrower.
I put one on the back and one on the front, but I should have learned my lesson last time. Flames in the equation while driving a wooden machine is not a great plan. However, a lot of nerds did catch on fire and burn to death, so it actually ended up being my best attempt yet.
Oh, I'm so close. Is anyone still burning? No way, look at that red bar.
I next tried putting some rockets on top, but rockets don't fix to your machine, so they just sat on top. It didn't really work out. I went in for a more thorough revamp of the vehicle, and since flamethrowers had been my closest effort yet, I went nuts on the flames.
Wait, can I put them on the wheel? Oh, I can. Heck yes. Here's some massive swords hanging on the side. Alright, let's go. Whoa! Whoa! Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Surely. Yes, I burned it. Wait, what are these? Oh, you gotta beat the... Oh, it's not intact. This is gonna be part of my 100%. Complete the zone by beating it with an intact machine. Did not... I did not achieve that. This is just getting the challenge done. Oh, with your own type of machine. Okay, so you do some DIY. Fragment challenge. Beat Queen's fodder without using fire or explosives.
For 100%, every level needs to be beaten with an intact machine. That was certainly going to be tricky for this level. And for some levels, there are specific challenges that earn you strange fragments. I figured I'd try for this level's challenge immediately by swapping out the flamethrowers for many giant swords.
Yeah, we can. Surely we can. I'm kind of attacking my own... Oh no, that's not going to count as intact, is it? I think one of my swords fell off. Yeah, I don't think you can have giant blades on your wheels. It doesn't work when you try and turn. I think I can still win this though, and at least get one of the challenges done. There we go. Without any fire or explosives. That's an achievement.
You can see up top, the damage taken was 32. To complete the level with an intact machine, that number had to be much lower. The exact damage threshold varies slightly level to level, but pretty much the goal is to see a damage taken number of 0. The swords attached to the wheels had been a big cause of the damage, so I removed those and added a bunch of crossbows. And I hoped that playing it defensively would result in minimal damage. But this seemed very difficult. My contraption was not remaining in good shape for long. I next tried slapping a bunch of armor on, and would you believe I managed to put together this beautiful beast. Hang on, I think that's War Thunder, the most comprehensive vehicle combat game of all time. Big thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. War Thunder is available free on PC, consoles, and the all-new mobile version is out now too. With over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships hailing from 10 major nations, there's so many ways to immerse yourself in the intense combat, as the realistic graphics and heart-pounding sound design draw you into the action. With a worldwide community of over 95 million players engaging in epic PvP battles, there isn't any other game out there better suited for fans of military history. Jump in a biplane from the 1920s or a fighter jet from the modern day. And these vehicles aren't just boxes with hit points. The designs are intricately modeled down to individual components. Engines, fuel tanks, weapons, and crew are all susceptible to damage, so you'll want to aim for enemy vehicle weak points and position your vehicle strategically. The attention to detail goes to another level with Damage X-ray View, which shows you precisely where shells penetrated and exactly how the destruction unfolded. Click the links below to sign up, and for a limited time only, new and returning players who haven't played for 6 months on PC or consoles get a free juicy bonus pack, including exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 silver lions, and 7 days of premium account. Okay friends, back to Besiege.
Oh, I can't put the spikes on the armor.
I was thinking I'd make an impenetrable spiky beast, but that wasn't really possible. Even still, with a slightly less armored spiky beast, things went decently well and the vehicle seemed in relatively good shape at the end.
Oh, what? How's my machine not intact?
I took 11 damage. The stabby car didn't completely fall apart, but I guess there was some structural damage in there somewhere, maybe some cracks in the logs. I decided I'd leave that intact challenge for later, and I continued my conquest of Ypsilon, arriving at an iron mine. The goal here was to disrupt the continent's supply of iron, while stealing some of the ore for my own use. I was encouraged to place a piston, which can be used to push in and out. I suppose the idea was to have a well-placed piston to push the giant balls of iron ore. The lower boulder was going to be easy to simply push into the goal, but the one up high did require some graceful piston work.
Yeah, that worked.
But controlling this big clunky car among the rocks was a nightmare.
I don't understand why I need this piston. That's all you need. A little bit of that. There we go. Didn't break my machine. Done. Destroy up there.
The Standing Stone, a mysterious wonder of Ypsilon, was my next target. I'd been destroying their homes, their trade routes, their resources, and now it was time to destroy a cultural icon. I needed to get some height to my attack, so I made this abomination. But I soon learned this holy rock attacks back.
Is this thing shooting at me?
Also, my cannon clearly was not going to be able to shoot that high. I'd of course seen the flying machine options earlier, and now it was time to experiment. I tried adding one of these flying blocks.
Fly. It's not flying very effectively. Oh, that's flying. Not very straight though.
I added a small aerodynamic propeller on either side of the contraption, and I don't know enough about flying to understand what the heck was going on, but it automatically had each one angled a certain way, with the result being a successful flight straight up in the air. Maybe this would get me the height I needed, I just needed some weaponry added. How about 3 extremely heavy cannons on the front?
Oh no! No!
I decided to hit Control Z 50 times to undo that entire failed experiment. Aerial assault seemed like a daunting design prospect, so for now I wanted to go for a beefy ground vehicle, with armor at the front which I hoped would block the Standing Stone's laser and prevent any fires breaking out.
This is so dumb, dude. I don't know what the heck I'm doing.
I was hoping I could ram it with the crap I had sticking out at the top there. I'm not so sure that was a good plan. Dang it, dude. Cannons on top seemed a little more promising, but this was definitely not a well-balanced build.
Zone conquered. Unique challenge. Hit a sheep with the Standing Stone's laser.
I decided to go for intact first, hoping that if I destroyed it before it lasered me, I'd take no damage. However, the laser wasn't really the problem.
Complete a campaign level in under 2 seconds. That was pretty sick.
Obviously, the problem was the kickback from the 5 cannons snapping their support logs, so I put some scaffolding up to brace those logs.
The middle one still broke, okay.
And I don't know why I didn't brace those ones. Instead of bothering to brace them, I just removed those 2 cannons.
I think it's bracing.
Hey! But I'd still taken 2 damage, and therefore the intact goal was not claimed.
I don't understand why I'm not getting that. It's still intact.
Either the little drop at the start, or the cannon kickback was still doing a little damage, and I still didn't quite understand that the requirement was essentially 0 damage at all. I decided to move on, to trying to get the laser to shoot a sheep. I figured if I drove behind where the sheep were milling about and nudged my way in range of the laser, perhaps when it tried to shoot me, it'd clip a U instead.
Oh, I think I got it. That sheep is exploding.
It actually worked, unbelievably.
Sheep turned into a crystal?
Yeah, for some of the strange fragment challenges, you literally have to pick up the fragment by moving your vehicle onto it. Sadly, my vehicle was now burnt to a crisp, so I couldn't collect this one. I reverted back to attempting the intact challenge.
Oh, that worked.
I don't think I did anything differently. I just got away with some physics RNG. 0 damage taken.
I love the fanfare at the side when you succeed.
I then spent quite a long time trying to get the laser to shoot the sheep. The sheep love running at you for some reason.
Sheep, why? Why do you love my device of war?
This meant I could gently push them towards the range of the laser, but it wasn't working for me. I needed something that pushed further away from the bulk of my machine.
This could be it. No, shoot at the front of me. Oh, how did you get my thing on fire? How did you do that?
I figured I'd probably learn slightly more sophisticated design techniques later, so leaving this sheepy challenge for now seemed wise. I moved on to assaulting Thinside Fort, which I needed to destroy using explosives. I got it done in an instant, just some cannon blast goodness. But once again, I kept taking 2 damage and the intact completion eluded me. I decided to experiment with suspension blocks, hoping their springiness would prevent any damage caused by the cannon's kickback. But I wasn't doing enough damage.
More cannons! Boof! Can't even destroy it. Alright, clearly, this should work perfectly. Ready? It did, but I take way more damage than ever before. Oh! Didn't that time. I told you that infinite suspension would work. Who doubted me? I know some of you doubted me.
I then reached the continent's Midlands, where I stumbled upon an enemy encampment. Sadly, my cannon suspension tower failed to get the job done. You can save your builds, by the way, so I of course saved this bad boy, and I loaded up the high cannons car I made earlier.
Okay, we're so back. No, the high cannons is so garbage. Never mind. Crap, I should have saved my earlier machines. I didn't know I could save.
It's true, one of the builds with swords or spikes everywhere might have been good here, but no worries, I'll just make a new one.
Can the armored poker do something here?
One thing I'd failed to consider is that these buffheads had giant shields, so it wasn't quite so easy to mow them over. Also, I somehow didn't notice a certain weapon up on the cliff.
Oh, there's a cannon up there. Dude, what? That's what's getting me.
There was also a cannon on the left. No one told me the enemy was allowed to have cannons. I somehow plowed through this time, making it all the way to flatten the tents. And after struggling to maneuver my hapless vehicle, I finally finished off a few more archers to get the completion.
That is hard within... How are you supposed to get intact on this?
I tried again, hoping the armored poker could pull out a miracle.
I got it! Never mind. Yeah, so that's more lenient. I took less than 4 damage on a previous level, but I still failed. This time I took 5 damage, but I got a pass. So clearly, because this is like a level where you fight a bunch of nerds, it's more lenient.
I'll take it. I next arrived at another monument, a big fat liar statue that I needed to desecrate in order to squish the culture of this continent into oblivion. I tried my 2 tallish cannon contraptions, and they both had no hope.
How do I catapult stuff? Surely something here.
I began with a hinge up top, thinking that if I could find some kind of way to apply force, maybe a catapult or slingshot would be possible. But then I saw that grabbers exist. I returned to the silly sheep level and put a grabber on the end of my sticky outie pole.
Yes, I grabbed the sheep. I got him. He's kind of low. Oh no, that's not what we want. Shoot my sheep. No. Gotta convince it to shoot and then move back. Ah, it's so accurate though.
Okay, that grabber plan wasn't quite there yet. I returned to the giant lyre, where I discovered the contractible spring piece and the decoupler piece, which can detach from your machine at the press of a button.
Clearly, we need a giant spring, tension from there to the decoupler.
But starting with your contraption in midair when there's a bomb attached to it is a bad idea. Also, the bomb didn't seem to want to attach in any case.
The bomb is not attached. How do I attach it?
With a grabber, but I didn't work that out right now. I got distracted again as I noticed the remote grenade. It also did not attach. Instead of the more obvious grabber solution, I placed this giant medieval holder thingo on there.
Alright, ready? Wait, how do I detach? V. Ready? Okay, I detached it and the spring did nothing. Come on. Dude, what are these? These springs are useless. I just realized I don't need the... Okay, this is not going the way I want it to go. Oh, wait, what do I press to blow it up? I don't remember.
All of the different pieces have different default key bindings and I was suffering from information overload. I then massively struggled to replicate the ridiculous slingshot I just achieved. Also, the camera kept swinging around for some reason, but I guess I did it.
Dude, stop moving my camera. I'm trying to see. There you go. Got a challenge here. Collect the strange fragment.
Obviously, the slingshot didn't get me the intact badge, and I needed to get a fragment too, which I assumed was up there under the lyre or something.
At least I figured out how to launch a spring-loaded grenade. Spring grenade launcher.
I built a brand new little car, and I'd learned by now that interlocking the log pieces was a great way to improve structural soundness. So I tried to employ that technique, basically ensuring each piece had at least 2 connection points.
Oh, I can't steer with this, can I? Crap.
Instead of steering hinges, I decided to try out steering blocks, which have more sophisticated movement beyond just the left and right movement of the hinges. They spin around instead, meaning you can drive with more precise maneuvers. Aside from the steering being inverted for some reason, probably user error, I was a big fan. I managed to maneuver over to the stairs, which pointed my cannon up at the perfect angle.
Okay, I got the intact. Wait, oh, I have to pick it up.
I didn't realize that you can actually keep moving about even after the level completion screen comes up. So I restarted and spent some time trying to get right up the top. I soon worked out that you can indeed still move after completion, which was good to learn, but it didn't seem my car was going to be able to make it up there to collect the strange fragment.
Give me a long grabber on there, bro.
This was never going to work because the angle was all wrong. I decided I'd come back to it, and my conquest continued as I besieged Highland Tower. Surely it couldn't be as easy as whipping out my stupid suspension cannon tower.
Dude, if I can do that faster than they can shoot me.
I had not gotten intact, but I had hope, and sure enough...
It's too easy, bro.
With the Highland Tower crushed in record time, it was onto a thoroughly diabolical prank. I was going to shut down the entire continent's transport network by placing a wood pile on the road near a lumber site. That'll show 'em. It seemed obvious the grabber was a great candidate for this one, but I needed to learn a lesson about steering with spinning blocks. You really can't make tight turns. It's painful. Next time I gave myself a better angle with more room to maneuver, but even still this was a bit of a tight staircase. I got there soon enough.
Yes, that counted? Heck yes. Okay, sick. And that was intact as well. It took 0 damage. Nice. Already practiced with a grabber on a sheep, man. I'm all over it.
Speaking of sheep, my next attack was on the livestock.
Kill 80% of all sheep.
I constructed a compact sheep killer featuring spinning blades front and back. Sadly, my meat grinders were too high, so I revised the build, putting on small wheels and lowering the whole thing.
Short. Oh my gosh. What have I done? The spinning blades are touching the ground. This game's so good, bro.
I decided to let it spin for a while and see how many sheep it could clean up, but it didn't move very far.
Hey, I got the achievement. Defeat 1,000 AI units. Heck yes.
I dispensed with the spinning blades and instead attached a bunch of pokers and swords, and this of course worked just fine. The problem was, a good chunk of the sheep were up on the ledges. Once the sheep down low were churned up, I circled wide, looking for the gentlest incline. Lucky for me, none of the sheep up high were required for completion. However, my contraption did take some damage.
Destroy the imposter. Wait, what are you? You're just a made up sheep. Okay, so if I destroy that guy, I get a fragment.
I decided to go for the special mission first. Perhaps with this silly vehicle, I could somehow climb up to destroy the fake sheep.
Get up there, you idiot. Yes. Maybe? No. Oh. Yes. No. Yes. I think with big wheels, this would be so easy. I don't know why I'm trying to do this the hard way. There we go. We're up. We're up. Surely. Surely. Please. Boom. That's got to be the imposter, right? Yes. Will he destroy the imposter in Solomon's pack? How do I do this intact?
I was damaging my vehicle when climbing the ledge, so I wondered if the ledge could be climbed damage-free if I just had bigger wheels. It also became clear that having stuff sticking out the front or back was a massive damage risk, as they tend to just snap off on bumpy terrain.
Let's try if I have like a bunch of shrapnel cannons. Dang it, all of that. All of that effort, what am I thinking? Maybe I can lure enough down.
You may recall that the sheep like to run at you for some reason, so after clearing all the sheep down low, I maneuvered myself as close to the ledge as possible, hoping the sheep would wander close enough to take an interest in me. Surprisingly, it was pretty easy to convince the sheep to run straight into my blades.
Oh, you might come. Oh, yes!
That was it!
Glorious. Oh, what's this? Oh, I'm ascending. Compact single cannon. This machine is a goer. The cannon is not relevant here, but that's fine. Wait, what? Well, I did that one perfectly.
That level was called Marksman's Pass, but the three archers had completely missed all of their shots, and I had successfully climbed to arrive at Queen Winfrith's keep. If I could just win this battle, the continent of Ypsilon would be mine. I whipped out the stupid suspension cannon contraption, and it was surprisingly effective.
Actually, you know what? I can change the position.
I shuffled the silly cannons over a little, trying to aim at the left side of the keep, where it seemed like I could deal the most damage. I then shot the cannons and then reset, and then shot the cannons and reset, and the physics RNG kept dishing out different outcomes.
Oh, it's so close.
This has got to be one of the silliest ways to win the ultimate battle for control of an entire continent.
Oh. Yes! Oh, I took too much damage though.
I guess the cannon kickback damaged some of my logs, but I believed I could pull it off damage-free, so I kept resetting over and over, hoping that the RNG would land in my favor. After a stretch of failures, I came up with an ingenious plan to offset some of that kickback.
You know what I need to balance this out? If I just have cannons shooting off the back.
I don't know if that really worked, but then I had another idea. What if I add flamethrowers to the front so I could kill some of the soldiers? Their deaths would likely count towards the completion, rather than completely relying on the luck of the keep crumbling down. And this did indeed work, but the cannon kickback did more damage than ever before. I then experimented with putting random rockets on the floor for some reason. And so 2 random rockets were added to my strategy. I'm not sure they helped very much. I also realized the cannons on the back were counterproductive, so I removed those and kept trying.
There we go. Cannons on the back weren't helping. I took 0 damage that time. What the heck? Alright, sick. I'm onto the next zone completely, right? Oh, I'm in Toblerone now. Tolbrand. Oh, there's flying stuff here.
Before beginning my conquest of a new continent, I returned to Ypsilon, which was now covered in flames. The all-consuming flames brought me great joy. I had 15 out of 16 missions completed intact, and 2 out of 5 strange fragments collected. I wanted to try and mop up some of those challenges before moving on. I began with Old Hal Battlefield, where I needed a fragment, except I couldn't remember what I needed to do to get it, so I quickly finished the level so I could find out.
Beat Old Hal Battlefield while having blown up all the bombs. Gotcha.
My first thought was to pop a crossbow on top of my car.
Can I do it with this? Maybe I can. Maybe I can.
It was a bit fiddly figuring out where to position the crossbow in order to get the right distance, which meant I kept having to shoot test shots, which made me worried I was going to run out of ammo. I was operating under the assumption that I had 10 bolts available, but I think I actually had 30.
Maybe I have more than 10 bullets. I thought I only had 10 bullets.
I popped the last bomb, and all that was left to do was complete the level by heading into the finishing zone.
Heck yes.
Another strange fragment, another achievement. I returned to the Queen's Fodder level, where you may recall I still needed to beat the level without taking damage. I built a top-tier contraption to attempt this.
Okay, this needs to be properly reinforced. Yeah, I have all crossbeams. I think you need to like reinforce with this kind of a thing. I still took a fair bit of damage.
I'm just amazed this killed enough of the enemies in order to actually beat the level. But if I had any hope of doing it damage-free, I needed to reinforce the platform. I was taking less damage, but I kept on trying to see how far I could push it.
8 damage is too much. How do I take less than... Oh, 6 damage? 6 damage is too much.
I found the block stress view, which didn't seem to indicate that any of the blocks had any stress.
There's no stress on any blocks in particular, just when they're resting, but when the cannons shoot.
This was a big experiment more than anything, and I did manage to get the damage lower.
Oh! 4 damage is too much as well.
Clearly, I needed some suspension below. Okay, maybe not, because that made the cannons shoot over half of the enemy's heads.
Rather than the force kind of being absorbed by all the wood, the force will just make it roll.
That was true for the cannons shooting toward the front, but the side cannons were exerting force against each other. So even if I'd placed some sideways wheels, it'd be a wash, I think. I gave up, leaving Ypsilon behind for now to begin my conquest of Tolbrand. Another continent, another opportunity for glorious violence.
The Duke's plea. Kill all knights.
The Duke of Tolbrand had heard tell of my ruthless conquest of Ypsilon, and he was begging for mercy. I was not receptive.
These knights are not fighting back, dude. Look at all these gold bars. They're trying to give me heaps of gold so that I don't destroy them, but I don't give a crap. So I need some way to shoot the guys that are up high, and I need some way to kill the nerds that are down low. I think I can just do crossbows.
The knights on the ground were the easy part, and hopefully my ridiculous crossbow tower would be up to the task of taking out the hard part. The knights chilling up on the wall.
Meticulous.
It was a bit of a headache to move this thing around because it kept threatening to fall over.
Finally.
It turned out the guys down low actually were the hard part because this tall, skinny vehicle was so badly designed it was ridiculous. I needed something wider and more bottom heavy so that it would stay steadier.
Should be way more stable now, yeah?
Yeah, this felt a lot better. For some reason I switched over to big fat swords though, and then had a proper crack, mowing down the ground knights before shooting the wall dwellers in the same fashion as earlier.
Where's another knight? What the heck? There's one dude over there, is that right?
There was a cheeky bloke hiding in a tree. I took him out and claimed the intact completion.
There's a fragment here though. Kill all the knights in the Duke's plea except the Duke's diplomat.
The dude with the giant scroll was clearly the diplomat, so I just needed to be careful not to clean him up.
Aha! Get some! Imagine these knights actually fought back. This would be so hard.
Once I'd cleared some space behind the VIP diplomat, it wasn't too bad killing all the other dudes. Although I didn't have much space to reverse, so I had to do 43-point turns to maneuver around. When I shot the final knight, the fragment appeared.
It appeared among the gold. Don't run into the diplomat. Got it. Mikey car with tall crossbow. Got very descriptive titles, I would say.
My conquest of Tolbrand was off to a flying start, but I wasn't expecting this for the second level. I'm not sure what the tactical significance of this was, but I needed to kill a massive flock of birds.
I think I know what I need for this.
There's no denying this was a majestic contraption. However, most of the birds were flying too high for the spinning blades to reach. I added a bunch of crossbows to the sides, aiming straight up, but as I sat there below the birds, it seemed not a single bolt was actually hitting them.
Do you think they'll die to water cannons? Why do I even have access to water cannons? Wait, I got an achievement for that. Okay, it's not killing them. I did get an achievement for putting out a burning block. I don't know how a block got on fire, but it happens.
I can't believe the sprinklers did not kill the birds. My next plan was more promising.
Catch on fire! Catch on fire, you foolish birds. Not enough caught on fire? Really? Alright, got some water cannons in the middle. Let's try.
The water cannons were there to put out any blazes that caught onto my vehicle, because I was determined to get the intact completion.
Kill 100 birds with fire. Dude, it's not enough though. Give me so many flamethrowers, please.
I widened the camera view to ensure I had a prime position below the birds, and I fired up, but still, it wasn't quite enough. Sadly, the erect flamethrower strategy was not effective, so I revisited flying machines.
That's kind of... Whoa! Whoa! I don't know what I'm... I don't know what I'm doing here, dude.
Using the flying blocks to gain altitude was chaotic business. I had no clue how to achieve stable flight, but this hot air balloon appeared promising immediately.
Can I put a hot air balloon on my hot air balloon? Of course I can.
I used some wheels to get this masterpiece into position below the birds.
Come on. Yes! Yes! My dreams of flight. Die! Die, birds! Die!
I was able to control the lift of the balloon using hotkeys, so I just noodled it up and down and got there eventually. As the birds flew mostly just straight into the balloons, in fact. The blades weren't even that effective.
We got the intact as well. I don't know if that's possible without flying. Well, I'm definitely flying now, holy moly. This is kind of sick.
Now that I'd murdered Tolbrand's favorite flock of birds, their balloon scouts were here trying to track the progress of my invasion. But I'd used wheels to maneuver my balloon last time, and that obviously was not possible up here. I needed to figure out a way to steer my flying machine about.
Maybe the flying block is supposed to... Can it be more of a propeller?
I was onto something, but these things pull, they don't push. So I moved it to the front and I was on the move.
And I can just do this, but I can't steer? I'm just going. I'm going into the abyss. I feel like this one doesn't need wheels, I would say.
I placed a steering hinge with the flying block on top of it, and that was exactly what I needed.
Oh yeah, it does work. Okay. It's so fast.
With a rather chaotic steering method established, I figured some spikes on the side would do. It seemed to me that all I needed to do was pop some balloons, so surely this was enough. The steering was crazy sensitive, because once you got any sideways momentum up, there was obviously only air friction to slow or correct that movement. Meaning if I was too heavy-handed, I would just start spinning.
Pop the balloon. Pop the balloon. Go a little lower. A little lower. I didn't pop the balloon. Come here. Pop the balloon. Yes! It's got a fragment. Destroy all the scout balloons. Okay. Oh no, this is going to take forever with this ridiculous steering.
There were 5 more hot air balloon scouts floating out there, spread out quite nicely, and I was definitely having a struggle with the steering.
It's kind of serviceable, but it's very particular. We're on track here. You only just need to run into it. You don't even really need to poke it.
I learned to be very gentle activating the flying block. I only tapped it, I never held it down, particularly when I had the steering hinge turned, and that kept things somewhat manageable.
Oh, how did I completely miss? Coming for you, big fella! Ah.
With that, the strange fragment spawned, floating in the air not too far away.
Give me that. Give me that. Boom. Piloting 101, destroy all the scout balloons. I got a rudimentary steering system going for flying. I feel like that's something.
Next up, I came face to face with the Duke's prototypes, presenting a difficult passage to navigate among the rocks.
Duke's prototype is like rams with bombs on them. Goodness me. Can I just be above it? You can't reach me. I can be above it. I don't have to be on the ground. I guess that's how we do it. I got an achievement. Travel at speeds faster than is sensible. I guess I got some good velocity there.
I could stay above the silly creatures, but those bombs were very sensitive to impact, so I had to hope they wouldn't bump into something below me, because they certainly were persistent in following me around.
Hello. Do I need to go a bit lower, bit lower? Oh dear, these idiots are gonna run into a rock and explode. Still too high? No, we're good. I feel like I need to get high to make sure none of these guys explode below me. They are not leaving me alone though. Oh! They're gone now. There's one more there though, so I gotta be careful. This is the most beautiful flying apparatus you've ever seen. There it is. We get the intact.
I flew forward in my trusty balloon because my spies had reported a worthy target, some of the Duke's dear freighters. If I was able to take these out, it would be a massive blow to my enemy's logistics network. But the 2 freighters were protected by 2 warships, with cannons poking out ready to blow me out of the sky.
Alright, we're gonna need to figure something out here, man. Because I got the Duke's explodey creatures on the floor, so I can't really just stay on the ground and shoot up. Unless I snipe all the bombs. Oh man, this is tricky.
I opted to test out crossbows first, but I needed more upward force to carry them, meaning I needed more balloons, so I struck a T-pose.
Am I doing any damage? I don't think I'm doing any damage, but my arrows do have a shadow, while the convoy does not.
That was a fascinating tidbit. But no, the fairly well-armored vessels did not care about my crossbow bolts.
They'll get worn down eventually, right?
It would have been smarter to just test the cannon first, but I'd thought they'd be too heavy. I of course gave it a try regardless.
How do I change the key binding of a specific cannon? Can I? Advanced building. What's advanced building mean? View machine key mapping. Wait, can I do the specific cannon? Oh, I can. Okay, here we go.
This was a massive discovery. By default, the key binding to shoot cannons was C, but that meant if you had multiple cannons, they'd all fire at once as soon as you hit the C button, which is what I'd done with every cannon build thus far. But I needed to take multiple ships out of the air, so I couldn't use up all my cannonballs at once.
Okay, so the ones on this side are 1, 2, 3. The ones on this side are 4, 5, 6, but I don't, oh, I am. I'm not too heavy. I mean, I didn't really look into it because I haven't needed to massively, but I kind of didn't realize you could remap. Now I should have 6 independent keybinds for each, one for each cannon. It only shot 1. Okay, now we're onto something, baby. That's what I'm talking about. The steering's not so oh crap. The steering's not so crazy when I have more weight on me, actually. Press 2. Oh no, I missed. Wait, what? That shot 2 of them, didn't it?
Not only did I completely miss, I'd also stuffed up my key bindings. I fixed that and had another crack.
Getting a bit more of a clue what the hell I'm doing. I gotta be ready for... Oh, what? I gotta be ready for that.
Yeah, I could not afford to float idly into the view of the enemy cannons. That was unwise. I needed to find a safe angle of attack.
How did that go over there? Surely we're on target here. Okay, out of the sky with you, my friend. I think this is an alright angle. Yes. It's so hard to aim. Let's just try. Oh, managed to get it. Okay, and then we gotta go...
My silly balloon could not reverse, so I had to do big ridiculous loops in order to backtrack. And the steering was so cumbersome.
Oh, just missed. I need some way to reverse, man. This is silly, surely. A bit lower. Yeah, baby. That was such a high octane cannon fight, man. If only they moved and retaliated, they would have had a chance. But look at this. You can't defeat the T-pose.
There was actually a strange fragment to claim on this level, but I didn't notice because I was too excited about saving my T-pose cannon balloon build.
Grand Crystal. I mean, I feel bad interrupting these guys. They're just singing a song.
No. There is no such thing as feeling bad for the enemy. This mission was crucial to the destruction of the continent. I needed to steal their beloved crystal and laugh at the silly monks as they said goodbye to the object of their worship.
Crystal didn't even fall. I killed Benedict. I got him with a blunt trauma. That's what you get, Benedict, you idiot. Okay. Fall into position? Not quite.
That was even more blunt trauma for the monks, and hope for the success of my mission. Maybe I could push the crystal into the end zone.
Push. Oh, dude. This is the crap. Oh, I nudged it.
It's times like this you begin to wonder, maybe I should have designed a less crap hot air balloon. But instead of doing that, I made another silly cannon car. And my hope was that I could knock the tower down in such a way that the crystal fell perfectly in the direction of the end zone. But at first, the tower wasn't keen on falling.
Oh, Gotcha that time, big fella. It's not ideal that I have this unbalanced cannon bullcrap. Oh, dang it, dude.
We need to study this one. This is a great example of my goose-tastic tenacity. I could tell that this was possible. It was doable. Never mind that I was consigning myself to a painful experience trying to nudge a giant crystal with a top-heavy idiot car. I knew it was possible, so I wanted to get it done.
Oh, there's a flaming rock in the way. This is so dumb, dude. Push!
Me when my wife was trying to poop out our babies.
Yes. 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 Little nudgy nudges. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Come on. Wait, what?
You know what's crazy? I said all of that in the labor ward too.
Make the monks in Grand Crystal play a secret melody. How would I get you to play a secret melody?
Obviously, I could see all the notes above the monks' heads, but before looking too closely into that, I wondered if there was some vaguely musical building piece I could perhaps manipulate their song with. But in the process of looking for that, I found the camera tool, which I stuck to the back of my contraption.
Oh, no way. I can put a camera on to stop the camera being so stupid. Thank goodness. Yeah, so now I can attach a camera to my vehicle so it actually follows.
A good discovery. And I decided to leave the musical monk challenge until later.
Farmer Gascoigne cut down 90% of crops.
It seemed I was reading from the same playbook I'd used in Ypsilon. I'd attacked Tolbrin's trade, their culture, and now I was ready to destroy their food supply. But these farmers had some grit. They weren't gonna let me do it easily.
Oh, he's really strong. What a beast. These farmers are next level. Invincible scythe farmers. Still a variation on this stupid thing then. You can't get me.
Unfortunately, my giant swords seem to gently caress the crops rather than cut them.
Second one of those on the back. And then we look at the controls for it. This should go forward with O. This is go backwards. Okay. And I can steer both of them. Dude, I'm getting so sophisticated with it.
Now that I'd invented reversing, surely I was ready to decimate some crops. Except steering such a light machine meant I spiraled so easily.
I need a more weighty machine because this is like so annoying.
I tried this, but it wobbled and exploded. I tried this instead, and that was a vast improvement.
Okay, I need to lure every idiot out of all these bushes.
Honestly, this iteration of the balloon wasn't really that much easier to steer, but whatever. I managed to get the invincible scythe idiots stuck on the far side of that rise, meaning I had free reign to chop the crops. I thought that if I got a bit more speed up, they'd slice, but they did not. They completely ignored my giant swords.
Oh yeah. Can they reach me? They can't reach me. Haha, joke's on you, dinguses. There we go. Those giant swords were not up to the task.
While the steering still felt quite floaty, which I guess makes sense since it is a balloon and balloons float, so I shouldn't complain too much, the fact that I could reverse now certainly made maneuvering less of a circus. And it turned out I didn't need to get the farmers stuck at all. They couldn't reach me as I noodled about putting the spinny blade to work.
Your crops are destroyed, your people will starve, and we will conquer your nation. The village of Diom. Destroy 90% of the village. They got a scout looking, but I don't think they have any defense. Okay. Honestly, this might work.
My little spiky car was indeed able to knock over these huts, but only if I picked up decent speed. And it seemed immediately clear that was going to damage the vehicle, making intact impossible. My preference was to go for the intact completion straight away, rather than redoing the level. So I toyed around for a second before putting a drill on the front of my big wheel car. This car seemed much sturdier, so I thought there was an outside chance I could ram down every structure and somehow remain damage-free.
Did I just get a rupee?
It's not uncommon to find rupees inside pots. That's why you've got to break every pot. And I don't know if the drill did much. I think I was just ramming with the wheels more than anything. I was also worried I wouldn't be able to hit the destruction quota without finding a way to destroy the higher houses. But I was able to get it done on the low ground, no worries.
I took 5.62 damage though.
The question was, how do I not take that damage? I tried again, attempting to ram stuff more gently, but that was a bit of a paradox.
What if I do like a bajillion fire?
I overcomplicated this. I believe you have 10 seconds of flamethrower fuel, but you can turn it on and off. But I didn't realize you could turn them off. I thought as soon as you lit it up, it'd burn for 10 seconds and then you were done. So I gave my 10 flamethrowers 10 different key bindings and used up each one 10 seconds at a time. I carefully positioned my chunky car to ensure I burnt as much as I could with each flamethrower. This definitely would have been simpler if I tested a little more to work out I could simply use the fuel in short bursts, but it was working.
Oh crap.
Except it was a little hard to fit my cumbersome beast to get at the structures in the center of town, but I got there eventually. And even though I had a bump or two, I got away with the intact.
Okay, it did work. Great. We got a Midland Patrol fight. Destroy all the tents. I don't think these guys are going to take that lightly. No, they got dudes with enormous halberds.
The Duke had some serious soldiers up against me here, but what hope did they have against my balloon blade? No hope, because my goal was to destroy the tents, and these idiots couldn't even reach me. Except maybe this wasn't the best tent destroyer, because the dangly blade bit snapped off. I made a chunky car with drills at the front, but I quickly realized it wasn't particularly effective at killing the armored soldiers, so I ran away from them and mowed down the tents instead.
Like a maniac.
As I wreaked havoc, more soldiers were emerging from the tents, so it got more and more ridiculous as a giant army chased me around. But I was pretty zippy, so I managed to knock over all the tents without being destroyed. However, it lied to me. I needed to kill more than just the tents. A few more of the soldiers had to be laid low too, but then the level was done.
What's the fragment challenge? Destroy the entire army in middle and patrol without destroying any tents. Okay. Hey, if they keep spawning, then how am I supposed to kill them all without killing the tents?
My assumption was that the tents had infinite knights in them, like a spawn point activated by player proximity. This assumption was wrong, but I do like the concept of infinite knights jammed into the tiny tents. I soon moved on to the Valley of the Wind, where I was once again on a mission to destroy culturally significant monuments. Except there were a bunch of willy-willies protecting the heritage site. I immediately learned they were capable of launching my lovely vehicle sky high. This level seemed like it was obviously going to be quick, so on this first go I didn't worry about intact. I just enjoyed some wholesale destruction. But then I got stuck on my back like a discombobulated turtle.
Alright, I just need to wait for the thing to get me. Thanks, bro. Thank you. You got. Oh, wait, maybe not that much. Oh yeah, just keep juggling me. No, dude. Land on the monument. Come on.
That was cause for a restart. I took that as my cue to go for the intact completion straight up after all. To achieve that, I was definitely going to need to stay clear of the twisters. I figured cannons would be my friend here, so I made a new car with 10 cannons, each cannon with their own key binding.
Okay. Oh, that got 2 somehow? Just sniping them, bro. It's too easy.
It's all about those angles, and somehow it happened twice. The monument domino effect.
That was so easy, dude. I only had to use 4 somehow? Odd contraption. Question mark. Question mark.
Clearly the best way to spin an odd contraption is by shooting cannonballs at it.
How on earth do I spin something a bunch of times? Hang on. Large cog on a spinning block and chuck a grabber on it. Here. Well, that ain't working. This wheel in particular, I press 1, and to reverse, I press 2. So now I can do this. One of these bad boys on.
I wandered over to the contraption and gave the little handle on it a kiss with my grabber. It seemed I needed to widen the revolutions, so I added a protrusion for the grabber to sit on.
Okay, that's not bad. I need to get a more balanced rig though. This is a lot more stable. I forgot to put steering on, but apparently I'm fine. Okay, now I need a way stronger connection.
The spinny part was connected by one skinny log, evidently prone to snapping, but I didn't actually reinforce it. I added steering so that I could get the positioning perfect, and on my next attempt I was more gentle with my rotating. I have no idea how this worked without any damage being taken.
Boom shakalaka. Not too bad. Okay, what did I open?
I was curious as to the strategic significance of rotating this contraption, but I had no clue. I just trusted that it was a worthwhile endeavor.
Poison the well now. Okay, I got some poison right here. Between poisoning the well and destroying defenseless scouts and destroying crops, it's not the most honorable. All's fair in love and war.
At least it was immediately clear what the strategic benefit of poisoning the water supply would be. A lovely war crime.
Decoupler with a grabber on it.
I tested it out, but this was clearly not lifting the poison jug high enough for me to drop it into the well.
Put it on a wheel, I think maybe we have a chance here.
With the wheel, I was indeed able to grab the poison and do a little rotating to get it high enough to clear the well wall. But once I maneuvered over, I ran into another problem. This jug of poison was too chunky.
Now I realize I need to blast the top off the well or else it's not happening. Yep, one cannon will do it. This is some smooth gameplay, bro. Is this not? A little bit higher. Press V. In you go. What? How did that happen? I need to get the side angle so I can see what the hell's going on there. Surely. There we... What? No one told me I needed that much poison.
I needed to drop 2 jugs of poison into the well. The problem was, once I decoupled, the decoupler, the grabber, and the poison fell into the well, so there was no going back in to grab again. So I put another grabber on the back of my car. Except there wasn't enough space in my designing cube, so I had to rotate into the diagonal.
Oh, here's the problem. I forgot to do the key binding for this one, so they're both detached. Oh wait, you don't need a decouple. You can attach and detach with V as well.
Yeah, I was overcomplicating it. You can command grabbers to let go of whatever they're holding, so I didn't need the decouplers at all, and I could have just used the same grabber twice. But I was all in on my unnecessarily complicated design, so I decided to follow through.
It's not going in.
Some nudging was required.
Please go in. Oh, that counted? Okay, but it's still in the way. Got no way of dislodging it unless... Okay, there we go. I think we're good. Nice. Took 2 damage. Is that because I let the things fall off?
I was wondering if literally commanding parts of your contraption to fall off counted as damage. I hoped not, but either way, I needed to try again in order to get intact. For the next attempt, I got rid of the unnecessary decouplers and instead tried letting the grabber detach.
Yeah, just let's go. That's much better.
But somehow I took damage again.
How did I take 2 damage that time? I do have pretty flimsy dongles sticking out.
The poles my grabber spinners were connected to were indeed flimsy. It was lazy design, and I was probably getting a little bit of fractured wood or something, so I did some reinforcing.
Less flimsiness is in play.
As I always say, less flimsy, good news.
No damage taken that time. Less flimsy, good news.
That was a glorious grabber design. No one can deny.
What on earth is this? Destroy 90% of the cannons.
Surely the spinny grabber can handle this. Maybe not. Pause for a second though. In the context of invading the continent, how on earth did I get myself in a situation like this? Surrounded by a ring of heavy cannons that are no doubt rather difficult and noisy to move around. Did they somehow set these up around me while I was sleeping? I tested if their cannons hit each other with friendly fire. No. I tested my giant slab of cannons, but due to the corners of the cannon square lacking cannonball coverage, I had blind spots and at least a few of the enemy cannons survived. I tried shoving a ton of fiery balls on there, hoping they'd roll about and clean up the cannons, but that was a long shot.
Wait, if I just fly up?
If I just flew up, I was completely able to dodge their first round of fire. And their first round of fire was their only round of fire. After that, the cannons just sat there, waiting to be slapped by my dangly. I have no idea how this was so effective. It seemed like my dangly spinning blade should have just bounced off the metal of the cannons, or the log should have snapped, or something should have gone wrong, but no, it was all good.
How did I take no damage? How is my dangly so powerful? Nerf the spinning dangly. Like it's just one thing of wood. Oh, extinguish the sacred flame. That just seems rude.
It does seem rude.
It seems rude, but it doesn't seem hard. It seems like I can just put water cannons on and then what are they gonna do?
I noodled my silly water cannon balloon into position and I let the water flow.
Bushka. Done. That's the easiest thing I've ever seen. My flame machine is not bad. No way though. What is this? Raise the sword and steal it? Is one grabber enough? Come to me, sword. This map is sick actually. Look at these swords. This game's got great art. I just turn my water on. Does that help? Like that'll help loosen the soil below so it comes out easier?
It was rather difficult to get the grabber in the right position. I don't think I was using the smartest camera angle, and my depth perception was hopeless.
Please. Please grab it. Oh. Pull. Pull. Oh, yes. What a strong device. Oh my gosh. You can do it. No, other way. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it, big fella. Wait, why are you going so high?
Those water cannons left over from the last level certainly were causing a ruckus. I think they were the reason I was wobbling so much. I think they were also pushing my balloon higher.
I'm so wobbly.
Despite the ridiculousness of the situation, I managed to get into a good position to drop the frosty blade.
Yes! Hang on, there's a thing. Find a way to retrieve the strange fragment in Argus's grounds. Oh, I see it. I see it, dude. It's in that big skull. Is that Argus's skull? You see it in the eyeball there? I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this.
I wasn't sure if you can grab fragments with grabbers, but I tried. It wasn't effective.
Come to papa. Come to papa. Come on, that's so close. I'm like tickling the eyeball, man. Actually, it's kind of really stuck in there. How? Shove that pole in there. How is that not going in? Poke the eye with the sword, dude. Genius.
I was so close to the solution with this silly sword idea. I tried flying rather high and dropping the sword onto the skull, hoping it would break it open or something, except I missed.
I totally missed. I have a feeling that's not the solution.
And so I moved on to take the Duke's knowledge. This was another job for the flying grabber, as I yoinked the lid off there and dipped in to claim the prize.
Take the Duke's epic, massive book. I love that. It is making me wobble something fierce. Boom. I have your knowledge, Duke. The venerated heart.
This one featured some squares on the ground, buttons or pressure plates or something. Though nothing seemed to happen when I pressed, and nothing happened when I grabbed. But I needed the venerated heart. This religious, cultural something rather shining inside the cage. I wanted to poop on the customs of this continent, while also stealing whatever power they held. Sadly, my cannonball could not break through the barrier.
It's supposed to press the button in, not the entire car up.
I tried dropping a weight on there, but at first I thought that did nothing. But then I realized.
I suppose it made the light go away. Okay, let's try to do that. Yeah, the light goes away. Maybe this is gotta be it.
Yeah, all I had to do was get something over the top of both squares, and that activated the mechanism and revealed the giant floating crystal thingo.
I need a point. I missed. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, dude. How do I? It's nowhere near high enough. Okay, I got it.
My conquest of Tolbrand involved quite a lot of stealing and destroying relics and monuments, and that continued. I needed to claim this floating shard.
I feel like this is not gonna work. Okay, maybe it will. Is it really?
It was really working, at an extremely rapid rate. The floating rock zoomed along with me.
I'm moving so slowly.
Once I got above the end zone, I let go, thinking gravity will bring it down. Apparently, I forgot that the Great Shard was a floater. It was always gonna float.
Oh crap, I pressed spacebar. Spacebar is such an instinctive button to press for like a million things.
I got done in by the spacebar muscle memory yet again, and so I had to drag the big thing over all that way, again. I was worried I wouldn't be able to push it down, but it worked out. I think this was a case where the physics didn't really make sense, because my understanding was that to lower your flying machine with the balloons, you stop the flames inside the balloons. Doing that doesn't actually create downward force, it just stops the upward lift and allows gravity to pull you down a bit. That works for normal maneuvering, but with a giant anti-gravity crystal attached to you, I'm pretty sure my balloon would have just stayed stuck, floating there too, with the crystal. However, it appeared I was indeed applying downward force, and yet I couldn't quite get it in there. But I managed to get the whole thing upright again, with the crystal positioned low enough to the ground, meaning I could use the propeller to get over there and finally get the job done.
There we go.
With the Duke's favorite crystal successfully stolen, I arrived at my final hurdle on this continent. Aris's Refuge, the Duke's stronghold in the sky.
Destroy everything? Looks like I'm gonna get shot at from these flying dinguses. Some archers. They've got crossbows.
This looked very difficult.
Maybe I can do something here?
It seemed pretty clear trying to get a ground vehicle across that dodgy bridge was a terrible idea, considering I had flying options at my disposal. So I got busy making a big fat balloon with many cannons and crossbows dangling below.
We need more balloons.
Those cannons are heavy. More balloons for more lift, please.
It's a slow moving operation, I would say.
I carefully moved forward, trying to stay out of the line of sight of their cannons, but the enemy crossbowmen had no problem shooting me.
And that ain't gonna work, is it?
I tried going higher, but those dudes had insane range. They were popping my balloons, no worries.
Dude, how the heck am I gonna do this?
I decided to shoot a bunch of cannons from a distance, just to see how much of the red bar I could fill by knocking low the tower back there. The answer was a heck of a lot.
You know what? That's pretty close. Okay, so let's split up all the cannons into different shooting areas.
I split the cannons into separate key bindings, some cannons grouped and others individually, and tested if I could bring down the tower with fewer shells.
Alright, so I've done all of that and I've used like these cannons and that's it. Someone's shooting at me though.
I still hadn't taken damage though, so I began firing some of my other cannons, beginning with squishing the crap out of one of the dudes on the bridge. Maneuvering this massive beast was slow going, but I eventually lined up a shot at one of the enemy ships, taking it out, and then I did likewise with the other. I still had a few cannon shells spare, and I dealt about 90% of the required damage, but this was the tricky bit. There were a bunch of ranged foes at the other end of that bridge, so it was going to be hard to position. However, I also had crossbows at my disposal, and I figured a bolt from a crossbow would probably be pretty effective at popping the enemy balloons. So I flew up and tried getting the arc of the crossbow bolts to go where I wanted.
Oh, that actually got a fair bit done.
Except in the process of doing that, I guess I moved further forward than I thought. And when I went lower, I was suddenly in range of the enemy projectiles again. So close, but so far. But I had a bit of a strategy going. Knock down the tower and hope its debris dealt a bunch of damage. Shoot at the bridge and try to take out some of the crossbowmen, which sort of worked, but sort of didn't. Because one dude survived and actually ran closer towards me, which was rude. I carefully took out the two enemy warships. And because I was scared of that rogue crossbow fella on the bridge, I had to shoot the crossbows from so flaming far away, I could barely see what was going on. But I just kept trying.
There it is. Oh, I did it. Oh, I took 2 damage, and that was too much. Kill all the Duke's knights. Okay. How close did I get to that?
There were still quite a few left alive, so that was going to be a tricky, strange fragment to collect. But I had officially conquered the continent of Tolbrand with a glorious assault from the skies. I attempted to take out the remaining knights with my leftover crossbow ammo, but that didn't work.
So I'm missing 5 of the gems, and I feel like they're pretty hard to get. And I need to do 2, including the final challenge, intact.
I jumped back into the Duke's Dear Freighters level, where I'd missed a strange fragment. To get it, I simply had to destroy all of the crates. 2 of the crates were being carried by the freighters, and the rest were on the ground. I lowered my ship to squish some of these ground ones, but others were close to some of those terrifying bomb rams, so I whipped out my crossbows. Thankfully, the crates broke from just a couple of bolt hits, and the final 2 crates were crushed by debris that I pushed with a cannonball.
I got him. Oh, there it is. Give me it. Give me it. Okay.
Another achievement.
Time to go to Valfros. Valfros. There's a dragon at the top. Woohoo! Okay.
2 continents were now aflame in the wake of my conquest, and Valfros was next. This frosty land was doomed, but in the process of dooming it, I was gonna have to contend with the weather.
Just gotta go there? What's so hard about that?
What's so hard about just driving to the destination?
Oh.
It's a wee bit windy, that's what's hard.
I'm thinking lots of wheels so that we've got good traction, again more forward force. I'm worried I'm not going to be heavy enough. No, 10 wheels of force is enough, I think. Just like that. As long as I don't get pushed off the ground.
This game has a way of making you feel amazing when you come up with a solution. Who would have thought designing a long car with 10 wheels would feel like a feat of next level engineering?
I'm gonna have to go a little bit across the wind here, which is not ideal. But I think I'm through. Hell yeah. Destroy all the crates. Oh.
Getting the strange fragment here was not going to be so easy, because those crates were scattered about, meaning I was going to have to go across the wind a fair bit. And when the wind caught the side of my silly long car, it was a bit of a challenge to maintain control.
Oh, yeah, that's too much. No, we're good. I should get some coverage from the... Heck yes. I think I can just get across wind behind this rock.
These windbreaks were the MVPs, providing refuge from the wind, but I was struggling regardless, as I began sliding all over the place before completely losing control, and a couple of my wheels. But I managed to salvage it, as I carefully worked my way back up to take out these 2 crates. But the remaining 2 crates required me to go quite far across wind, and that resulted in even more lost ground. But once I lost that ground, at least I was vaguely in the right position to forge into the wind towards my final 2 objectives, because going straight at the wind was definitely the sweet spot.
It was a struggle, but we got there. Nice. Anti-wind car. Ring the bells together. Oh.
I struggled to understand why ringing some bells at the same time was going to help me in my conquest, but let's have a crack.
Doesn't that hit all of them? How did that only hit 2 of them? What the heck?
It seemed like my many cannons would surely hit the bells, and it definitely looked like they hit 2 of them, but only one rang well enough for the red bar to register it.
Only one of the eyeballs is crying?
I think the ringing bells may have been causing Mount Rushmore to cry, and I really did think the flying cannon machine should work, but it just wasn't going to happen. The best it could do was give 2 out of 3 bells a decent wobble. I needed to whip up something new. I decided to try with 3 cannons on their own key bindings.
What? I just shot it point blank, dude.
These were some sturdy bells. Also, it was immediately clear I couldn't really use independent key bindings, because the cannon kickback was going to send my balloon spinning. I tried all 3 at once again for good measure, but again, the flying cannon strats were not working.
Can I just do it with a wide car? Maybe I can.
I got busy building, and I was going to have a giant mess of bell slapping nonsense hanging off the front of this thing, so I knew it needed to be stable. I tried my best to be smart about making it structurally sound and wide enough to stay steady.
Gotta get a counterweight going at the back, cross-connecting, interconnecting nonsense so there's no like weak dangly bits. Like all this is criss-crossy so it's all reinforced. Does that make sense? How wide? I think here might do it. Gonna be too wobbly. Too heavy, that's for sure.
I added more weight at the back and managed to wobble my way over to the bells, where I realized I'd been silly to have all the bell pokers at the same height. Obviously, the bells were at different heights, so I did some adjustments to this poker first, lowering it a bit to what seemed about the right height. And I also added even more weight at the back.
This is so janky, dude. Okay, it works though. It sort of works.
That was a success for the left poker, so I now moved on to lowering the right one, which needed to be an extra block lower again.
It might just die under its own weight at this point. Yay! I took damage though. I took a lot of damage. That was a challenge though. Ring all 3 at the same time. Oh, so you don't have to do it at like exactly the same time. So there is a bit of a window, but I feel like it's hard to do them one by one.
I added some cross beams connecting front and back, hoping to make the beast less floppy. I also added armor at the back for even more weight.
I think the wheels are struggling.
I don't know why I had the wheels attached to piddly poles, because they were not coping with the weight. I built some structure around where the wheels connected to reinforce them. Then came the awkward balance of trying to get this right. I needed to position the monstrosity correctly, that was the first challenge, and then I needed to ram forward into the bells, but not too crazily because I didn't want to take any damage.
I took 4 damage? Oh, 2 damage was too much?
At this point, I gained confidence in my ridiculous contraption. I believed it could be done, I just needed to execute. So I had a bunch of attempts. It was a struggle, but I got there eventually. Yes! Yes! Beautiful.
That's gotta be the worst thing I've ever designed. Bell poker.
Now what did poking the bells achieve? It made Mount Rushmore cry. Very important. And here we are in the peculiar clearing, with some frosty poles before me.
It's not an anvil, is it like a bird head? I guess I gotta turn this thing. This'll do, yeah? It's not the original use for this particular vehicle, but definitely need a reinforced version of this.
It wasn't pretty, but it was working, and all the spinning was raising those frosty poles up and out of the ground, and eventually something else emerged from the snow.
What are we getting out here? We're getting like it. Is that someone's coffin? I think it is. Oh crap. Dude, what? A soul just emerged from there. Like a black soul as well.
I needed to get the intact completion, so I rebuilt a less flimsy grabber vehicle.
What's a better way to do this than just like running straight at it? I think maybe I need a flying machine. Yeah, I need a flying machine. What am I doing? Yeah, without the ground friction, I think we're totally fine.
And so the flying grabber got the job done, no worries. Although half my contraption blew up at the end for some reason.
We got the intact challenge. Beautiful. The Martyr Knights. 90% kill.
I whipped out my little spiky car, but it did literally no damage to the heavily armored knights, while they chopped it up in no time. I decided a flying vehicle was the way to go, with so many flames spewing out of the bottom of it.
I need everyone to come below me, please. Everyone, gather up. What? Oh, they got throwing axes? Oh, that screws up that plan, doesn't it? Everyone except for those guys to come below me.
The axe thrower's initial position was further back, so it was possible to lure the bulk of the group without drawing their attention, although that didn't quite happen on this attempt.
Oh no!
I let the flames loose on the rabble below me. The axes cleaned up my balloons, but at least there was some serious roasting going on.
You know what? I did it. Oh, I can lure enough and then just stay away from the axeman, I think.
Reversing away immediately seemed to be quite effective.
It is. Anyone want a barbecue?
With the enemy forces thoroughly roasted, I moved on to trying to steal gold from one of their mines. I needed to claim 3 of their gold nuggets.
1 gold there. I don't know where the other gold is. It like inside these, maybe inside here?
It was easy enough to use my now famous flying grabber to yoink the first gold nugget, but where the heck were the other 2? After looking around, I concluded they must be inside the mounds of rocks somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, there's one there.
That one was quick, but finding the final nugget wasn't quite so fast, as I shot cannons about hoping the gold would reveal itself.
Ah, it isn't here.
I needed a way to grab the nuggets, and I needed at least 2 explosives with which to reveal nuggets 2 and 3.
Does the bomb actually stay on the grabber? Okay.
This helped me realize I was capable of creating a bomber balloon, and it was actually pretty simple, although I somehow forgot I could use key bindings to command the grabbers to let go, and instead I used decouplers again.
Oh. Okay, that didn't exactly go where I wanted it to go, but it got it out, so I think we're fine. Okay. I was like, where did it go? Now I should just be able to grab them all, and I don't think I've taken any damage.
I was indeed able to simply grab 2 of them and drop them into the goal.
Now, can I get this without crashing into the random crane thing? Wait, I can just move the crane around? It's on a pivot thingo. Okay, we got it. We got it, baby. Beautiful. Hey, didn't take any damage. Come on, that was cool. Tear down the barrier, except we've got... These look like the axe throwing dudes. Yeah, they are. I have an idea involving this exact craft. Oh, that's not the idea. Gotta reverse immediately before they throw anything at me. Okay, and then we get extremely high.
It was rather convenient that I just learned how to drop bombs, because a couple of well-placed explosions delivered from a safe height seemed like an elegant way to break down the barrier in order to make my way into these mountains. Except I'm not sure about that bomb placement.
Sort of missed again. I mean, if I land both of those, I think I'm done, right? Wait, what? How does that not do anything?
I upgraded the bomber, getting 4 on there instead of just 2.
Oh, they hanged someone over here, man. That's rude. That's probably one of my friends. Yes, it worked. That was sick. Complete the mountain barrier without explosives. Oh gosh, how the heck? Cannons count as explosives, right? Wait, what? Maybe flaming balls don't count as explosives. Maybe boulders wouldn't count as explosives. I don't know how I didn't figure out the bomber earlier, because the bomber is sick.
It's good to see that I'm smart enough to know that boulders are not explosive. Also, they were apparently way heavier than the bombs because I was moving rather slowly. I was pretty sure that just 4 boulders wouldn't do enough damage, but I wanted to give it a try so that I could get a gauge on how effective this would be.
How much damage do a few boulders do? That's not bad. Look at that boulder dropper, man. This is glorious. There's no way this flies. Nope, just get all the balloons you can.
The balloon to boulder ratio was kind of crazy, and the overall result was a little bit wobbly. But with 9 boulders as my payload, maybe I was in with the chance of destroying the wall.
Okay, let's just try here. I need 2 payloads.
One option was to split up my existing boulders into 2 groups with 2 different key bindings, and the other option was to add a bunch more boulders. I added a bunch more boulders.
Yeah, I'm very back heavy now, which makes a lot of sense. Am I just immediately breaking? It doesn't really matter if I'm broken for this achievement though, does it?
It was ungainly and wobbly and probably not safe, but I had hope. I eventually got into position for my first drop, but I didn't love it.
That didn't feel great. All right, let's try. Oh, come on. Yes! Bro, that one was perfect. It got the front wall. It didn't do much damage the first time because the front wall stayed completely intact, but that got like a really nice cross section. Complete the mountain barrier without explosives.
I continued deep into the mountains where I found the frozen relic. I needed to steal it, and I had just the tool for the job.
My flying grabber. The flying grabber has served me well, man.
The flying grabber was gonna crush this mission.
What did that?
Okay, maybe not. It seemed the relic was emanating extremely low temperatures that froze anything or anyone foolish enough to come too close. This applied to my little car too. I tested to see if I could fly above, getting a sense for how close I could get, and in the process I dropped half my vehicle onto the target, which knocked it from its icy perch.
Oh, maybe I can just shoot it over there. Hang on.
I soon learned that some of this ice couldn't be destroyed, and it seemed getting a cannonball to go the distance was going to be too hard anyway. So I moved on to dropping bombs to one side of the relic, hoping the blast would send it flying in the other direction. That didn't work too well either.
I think it's the artifact, like the cube artifact itself is emanating the frostiness, right? I can't go close to it no matter what. Yeah, so I think I have to come up with a way to knock it over there.
I struggled to come up with a plan. I just began fiddling about.
Have I not been using braces at all? Could have been doing like this the whole time. What the heck would you do with a bounce pad, a grip pad, plow, a half pipe? I don't even know, man. Hey, maybe the metal plates don't freeze. Or like a cog. Do you think a cog freezes? Does everything freeze? Yeah, that's freezing. Well, it's not breaking though. What? It can kind of get through. Oh, it's pushing me away as well? Metal plates to make me heavy?
The freezing aura completely destroyed wood, making it shatter. But it seemed metal was okay, although it did still get stuck, frozen to the ground. And it appeared not only was the relic freezing, it was also anti-gravity or pushing stuff away with a force field or something. I tried putting some water cannons on there, shooting up to provide downward force that I hope would keep the beast on the ground.
Can I shoot a grabber at it somehow? How would I shoot a grabber at it? Even if I shoot a grabber at it, how do I stay connected? I can't stay connected. Oh, hang on. Rope. I have rope. Will it just go? I guess it will.
I rigged up a rocket attached to some logs attached to a grabber, all connected to a rope, but it took me a while to figure out how to let the rope go longer. I could unspool it a bunch before launching, so I did so. But that just proved this rocket contraption wasn't going to go very far. It pretty much had zero chance of actually hitting the relic.
Hang on. Can I aim?
Obviously, I needed to somehow actually aim the rocket at the relic, and the best I could figure out was to position my funky car pointed in the right direction. But again, my rocket launch didn't go very far anyway. I thought perhaps more rockets was the solution.
Oh, how the heck do I stick a bunch together?
I did another rocket, rockets upon rockets, and the contraption flew a little bit further. But ultimately, I was fairly stumped, so I did a little research trying to find tools that would push my engineering to the next level. And I learned that not only can you change keybinds, you can change a bunch of parameters for most blocks. For example, I doubled the speed of all my steering blocks, meaning I of course had way better forward movement, meaning I suddenly made way better progress through the relic's force field. I also increased the flight duration and doubled the thrust of my rockets, while also completely removing the explosive charge so that it wouldn't explode on impact. With that extra speed, my contraption's grabber shooting capabilities suddenly looked slightly less pathetic, although the flames coming out of the bottom of the rocket kept burning and destroying my rope, so that was counterproductive.
Oh, you can tell it to start unwound. Okay.
This meant I didn't have to manually unspool the rope every time, which was good news. But now I was worried perhaps the rope wasn't going to be long enough. But I soon learned there was plenty of length available.
Oh, it's long enough if it goes the right way. Holy crap.
But my rope kept getting burnt. Obviously, it needed to be repositioned so that it wasn't literally hanging right over the flames, but I wasn't sure what blocks to use. I'd been attaching the rope to logs earlier, but those were breaking up in the icy area, so I used these ballast pieces. These are metal, and their intended use is as weights on flying machines in particular. But in this case, they were perfect as a frost-resistant building block. Using one, I was able to change the rope attachment point to where I hoped it wouldn't cop any flames, but no luck. Around this point, I did some more research, and found a contraption some other dude made to finish this level. He too had made a rocket, but his was way better than mine. I was just happy that I was at least attempting a viable strat, so I took that as encouragement to keep on with this approach, and I tried to copy what he'd done to improve what I was doing. One of the key differences was that he had several rockets connected together using brace pieces. I hadn't thought of using the brace pieces, but here I go having a crack. Clearly I was still missing something. I raised it up higher, hoping it would shoot straight forward at the target, but no. The dude I'd found in my research was also able to aim his contraption, but I was a bit slow figuring out how he did that.
Steering hinge. Wait, you can control hinges. Oh dude, I forgot about these things.
I had somehow forgotten about steering hinges, because in recent times I'd only been using steering blocks. Speaking of steering blocks, they were also going to be handy.
Yeah, so now I can do like aim up a bit and then I can kind of do a bit of this.
I ended up with this, a bunch of rockets all connected together with braces.
Oh, that's not bad, dude. Holy crap.
This was totally unintended, but I did not put a middle rocket on this version for some reason, which was actually perfect, because the rope was in the middle, and without a central rocket, it did not get burned up.
Okay, that's way too low. Oh, it all fell off?
I reinforced with more bracing, and went in for another try.
Oh, that's sick. I think we can do this. I stole all of the winning technicalities of this design from someone else. This channel's called Toru VMO. I found a Steam.
For some reason I fizzled out explaining that, but I was gonna say I found a Steam forum post about this exact level. But again, I didn't copy it piece for piece, I just took inspiration, so I don't want to make him look bad. I'm sure his was way better.
I don't know why I'm using these stupid wheels. I'm not even going close to the frost anymore.
It would have taken about 20 seconds to change over to proper wheels, making the setup of my shot way easier. But for some reason I didn't do that, I just kept on trying, many times. It was tricky to figure out the correct angle to fire at.
Oh! No. Oh, dude, the thing got stuck in it, but it just came off.
You can see the grabber stuck to the relic, but everything else broke off somehow. That was a worry, and this was not going too well.
Some guy says that he made a walking machine.
So I went back to research. Some guy said walking machine. I wanted to try with a walking machine. This suggestion was just in a text post. I had no pictures and no details. So my main question was, how the heck do you make a walking machine? Probably not like this, but at least it's cute.
Look at this thing, dude. This thing's glorious.
It's working. It's working.
No, it's not. Will the torch fight the ice? Surely. Oh no. The ice got my wheel.
You see what I was going for? I thought maybe the fire would stop the ice from grabbing my contraption. It's genius, really.
I can push through. Maybe. No. Then there's that anti-gravity crap. What do I do about that?
I don't know what the heck kind of walking machine that dude made, but it probably didn't look like any of these monstrosities. I next read a comment from someone who made a cube that used water jet thingos to push itself around. Some jets on all 6 sides of the cube, so no matter which way it was thrown by the relic's force field, you could always maneuver about. I simply could not grasp how on earth to make that. My effort was abysmal, but I pushed it over close to the range of the relic nonetheless. It didn't move at all.
What on earth do I do? Wait, can't I just do this? Hang on.
After making myself look like a baboon, attempting to get other people's ideas to work, I thought of what immediately seemed like a way better idea than any of the others. As soon as I worked out how to use winches and grabbers together, I should have thought of this, but better late than never.
I always forget how ridiculous the steering is on this thing. Surely I'm onto something here. It's gonna be impossible to position the flaming thing though.
It was indeed rather tricky to position the dangler, but I believed.
Oh! What the hell? That's not what we want though.
The next time I managed to make contact, this happened for some reason.
Well, I bonked it.
And then my incredibly wobbly steering accidentally broke a chunk of ice.
What'd I do?
Following that, I accidentally let the grabber touch the ground, and it got stuck, frozen.
But I broke the strange fragment out of the ice and collected it. I didn't even mean to. Where was the strange... Oh, that's the strange fragment. Okay, I missed that totally. That is a great one to get for free while I'm toiling away, struggling so hard.
I had several more attempts, but this relic behaved strangely, until finally, the grabber gently made contact.
Oh? Yes.
I foolishly thought that perhaps the ice would just break if I dragged the relic into it, but that was silly. I should have been playing this as risk-averse as possible. I didn't want to screw it up.
Oh, please.
I wasn't able to get any lift from my balloons, so I was forced to drag it around at ground height, meaning it got stuck on the frozen soldiers. But with a little back and forth, I did manage to actually break them apart.
Break the little dudes. Screw the little dudes. Go easy on the steering. Yes! It's happening. I can't believe it. I came up with the most ridiculous solutions. I resorted to the internet. Couldn't figure out what the hell the internet was even talking about. And I came up with a unique solution. I'm sure most people did this actually. I think this is probably like the most logical solution. We got there eventually. Holy crap, dude. I spent so long on that one. Whew, I feel good about that. Retrieve the consumed king.
After a very long struggle, I had stolen the juicy relic. And now it was time to steal a king that got eaten one time.
Look at this skeleton, man. That's so cool. He killed the beast from the inside with his spear. What a gangster of a king, man. Am I doing the same thing here?
My task was to grab the king locked inside the skull, but for some reason I first tried grabbing the majestic spear. I soon realized that wasn't going to do anything. I needed to figure out a way to get the grabber in there to yoink the king.
Should I go steering hinge on there maybe? I don't know. Could this work?
The plan was to use one end of the car to break the teeth out of the way and the other end to do the grabbing. The bottom teeth broke easily enough, but when I blasted the top teeth with some cannons, they weren't bothered at all.
Oh, I just can't break those top teeth. I only break the bottom teeth.
In that case, I needed a long grabber, low to the ground.
Doesn't reach. Never mind. I got it. Oh dear, that poor guy. Sorry, King. Done. Call this the King Retriever. Revolving monolith.
One of the symbols on the bottom revolving section was lit up, but that was it. And initially, I wasn't exactly sure what I was trying to do.
It says fire lights the way.
2 out of 3 torches surrounding the monolith were unlit, so I quickly whipped up this silly thing, and predictably, it caught on fire and let me down. I attached the torch to something non-flammable and tried again, lighting both torches.
So that's now lit up. I definitely need to get him to turn this way. So how do I do that?
Every attempt involved silly floaty lighting of the fires, and then I was trying to figure out what would work. This particular grabber utensil was not long enough. This one was longer, but its impressive length meant it weighed down my balloon. Even still, with some aggressive wiggling, I managed to grab the lower and middle rotaty bits and spin them into position.
That's like straight on, surely. Please. The top one's gonna be next to impossible. When I go up or down, it swings like crazy, and I'm trying to like use that swing timing. Just pedal it. I don't have space, dude.
I tried for quite a while, but it just wasn't gonna happen.
That's what those balloons do.
I made the grabber arm even longer, and to make it so my flying contraption wasn't flopping all over the place, I added a bunch of balloons to balance out the weight. I did not think this would fit under the overhang in order to move the top part, but it actually worked. In the end, it was the bottom one that was impossible to rotate with this contraption. I figured if I was able to decouple the torch business at the bottom, I'd have a better time getting close enough to the ground. So I tried that out, dispensing with the extra baggage of the torch as soon as both flames were lit. Meanwhile, the mechanics of this operation were doing my head in.
Oh my gosh, it's so annoying to steer. No matter how much I do it, I can't get a muscle memory for what the hell does what, because nothing makes sense.
I pushed through and got there eventually, successfully rotating the bottom symbol into place. The middle symbol didn't light up properly for some reason, but this was correct, and the top one came last. Finally, I had success.
Come on. Thank goodness. Wait, I took damage? What happened at the end? Oh, there's some explosion at the end? How am I supposed to deal with that?
No, I have to do it again with an intact machine.
I don't want to.
I did not want to, so I did not. Not yet, anyway. Instead, I moved on to arrive at the Penitent Tower.
Okay, what enemies are we looking at? This guy looks serious. These guys are axe throwers. Oh, there's axe throwers on top of those things as well. Yeah. Nope.
I had some ranged foes to deal with, but a bomber balloon seemed like it would provide a glorious victory, no worries, as long as I kept out of the axe thrower's range. I'd forgotten to save the big bomber design from earlier, but I had the boulder dropper, so I rejigged it with the bombs once again and I was ready to go. The tower itself was a key target, representing a big chunk of the damage that I needed to inflict, and its debris was handy too, flying off to deal even more damage. Beyond that, I targeted all the other smaller structures, hoping to clean up soldiers as collateral and see that red bar fill up nicely. The first attempt didn't quite work out.
Oh, that was good. That had great collateral over onto this one.
Even still, it seemed I'd keybound my bomb clusters poorly. I hadn't given myself enough payloads, especially because dropping more than one bomb at a time probably didn't really add that much impact, compared to being able to drop extra bombs in entirely new locations. I fiddled with the keybinds, and I added braces to the balloons so they wouldn't be quite so floppy. And so the question arises, what is easier? Spinning the Dubawakis of some undefended monolith in the last level, or destroying a heavily fortified tower, defended by dozens of heavily armed men?
Oh, I hit myself?
Well, there goes my damageless run. But regarding my question, when you've got a bomber balloon, the answer is obvious.
Yes. How did I get 0 damage? I lost an entire balloon.
Okay, so I got the damageless after all.
What's the challenge though? Get the axe throwers in Penitent Tower to hit a training target.
One of the things I appreciated about 100%ing this game was the creativity of the strange fragment challenges. Because even if I managed to defeat a level fairly easily with a bomber balloon, so what? It wasn't going to help me at all when it came to silly-willy training target shenanigans.
Throw it here, please.
They unfortunately did not seem inclined to do that for me. It seemed behind the wall wasn't going to work. I needed to somehow get right in there, next to, or ideally behind the targets. So I zoomed straight in and tried precisely that.
I got it! Get it! Get it! Pick it up! Oh, come on, man. It happened and I can't get it?
Yeah, it's hard to move your car when it lacks wheels.
It's right there. No, dude. My tire is touching it.
I tried to bribe one of the knights to poke part of my vehicle over to touch the prize, but they weren't helpful. Only a few attempts later, I pulled this off, where rather than trying to get behind the targets, I did some silly back and forths in front, hoping that if I got out of the way of a flying axe, it would strike true.
Yes.
Another achievement, very good. And with that, this continent was officially conquered.
That was the completion of Valfrost as well.
And here's my next target, the rather dry-looking continent of Krolmar. Zone 46, the Towering Eye of Krolmar. The Towering Eye was my first target, an outpost that needed to be laid low before I could venture deeper into these lands.
Oh. I see you, little gem.
I started the level for some reason, even though I only had an inanimate cube as my vehicle. But this turned out to be a good way to learn what I was up against.
Hold up. No way.
I had to make a mad dash, straight up and above the towers, and after a couple more attempts I proved it was possible, as the laser's tracking was a little too slow to catch me. I dropped the bombs and the eye was gouged.
That didn't destroy enough of the outpost? I can try again and like land it in between the two towers maybe?
As for the strange fragment, I wondered if I could just grab its cage, drop said cage from a height, and hopefully break the fragment out with the help of gravity. Unfortunately, the cage was rather heavy, and I could barely move it. Though the small distance I did manage to drag it caused the fragment to bug out its position a little. I think it was just a visual bug though, because I wasn't able to actually collect the thing. I managed to drag it off the cliff, but that achieved nothing.
You know what I think you have to do? I think you have to lure the eyeball to shoot at it. Alright, well first things first, let's just try kill the eyeball. I think I maybe have a chance with this strategy.
I wanted to land the bombs such that at least one of them hit the ground between the two towers, causing an explosion that would hopefully take out the bottom of both structures, which would result in some crumbling.
That's the one!
So I didn't land them how I was hoping, but whatever. That was the one because it worked.
We got intact, we got completed, obviously. I don't know how I'm gonna get over there without the eyeball catching me.
I moved on to trying to get the laser to cut up or melt or disintegrate the strange fragment's cage.
Get behind, get behind. Am I safe? Oh crap. Ah! Get low enough, get low enough. Get low enough. No! I think he destroyed the case though. Yeah, he did.
Somehow, I only lost one balloon on this attempt, and the laser had indeed melted at least part of the metal cage. But what now?
Wait, if I can escape, get up, and blow up the eyeball, then I can pick it up freely. I guess that's what I'm gonna try and do.
I took some deep breaths and pumped myself up for a rather wild maneuver. I zoomed out from behind the rock and managed to keep a lead on the deadly laser.
Come on. Yeah, that was smooth. That was smooth. Just don't bump spacebar, because I might not be able to pull that off ever again in my life.
That was glorious, but I soon found out some bad news. Yes, the top part of the cage had melted away, but no, the strange fragment was not free to grab. Reason dictates that it should have been mine to claim, but I guess the rule was the entire cage had to be melted down before the fragment was actually out and ready to grab.
Come on, dude. Are you serious?
I'd expressed doubts I'd be able to pull off that daring maneuver ever again, so long as I live. Well, I was gonna have to. But the first trick was to get behind the rock and gently position the balloon, such that the eye was lured into lasering the cage. Hopefully more completely this go round.
Oh, I don't have my bombs this time. What am I doing?
Don't forget your bombs, you big dingus.
That was not it. How does that miss so horribly? Okay, surely I've done it this time.
It took a few errant bomb drops, but I got there eventually, claiming the golden eye achievement.
Open the ancient vault. Look at this creature, dude. What on earth is that?
Now that I'd made it past the laser eyeball outpost, I was free to stare at this continent's weird animals, and of course, steal from its ancient vaults.
Big old key. That's what it's a keyhole. I thought it was gonna be super heavy, but it's apparently not that heavy.
It wasn't too heavy, but the way I grabbed it was not ideal. It was at a funky angle, and what I needed was a perpendicular to the ground type situation so that I could slot it into the hole. I bailed on that attempt and added a steering hinge to the contraption. I turned the hinge before grabbing and managed to stick it at a pretty good angle.
Is that pretty straight? That's pretty straight, yeah. Lower it in, lower it in, get in there. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Yeah, boy! Oh. Oh! Oh! What the heck? Oh, the treasure. The ancient vault. The treasure is water in the desert. That's so profound. Got the intact as well. Moving on.
Now that I'd claimed a choice water source, it was time to melt some gold.
We're doing more picking up nonsense. These creatures are so cool. The problem with this thing is that I'm definitely just gonna run straight into the laser beam and blow up my own ship. No, dude. What? Oh, that ain't gonna do it. Maybe the gold will melt if I bomb it.
The gold did not melt when I bombed it. Of course not.
Oh, I think I just increased the angle. I think the angle is limited, but there's no limit now. Oh yeah, I can go so far now. Okay, this should make it much easier. Dude, what the heck? This thing's making my ship lay down.
The increased angle limit of my steering hinge made things easier, to pick up the mirror at a handy angle at least. But it was still a good dose of chaos trying to bounce the laser beam in the right direction.
Yeah, use the hinge a little bit. Is it heating it up? Okay, sick. Yeah, dude, the hinge on this is crazy. Can go full rotation. Get that mirror wherever you like it. Mesa outpost. Destroy the cannons.
I will happily destroy the cannons. A simple matter of floating above their fixed angle of shooting. Once I was safe, I dropped a few bombs. No big deal.
I mean, come on, bro. Like, am I gonna need a bespoke build at any point? Destroy the fruit? That sounds like a sad thing to do.
Clearly, the best way to destroy fruit is to bomb the entire tree, except it didn't work.
The whole tree is withered, but the fruit is very strong.
Remember the build with the rocket grabber attached to a rope? I edited that one, popping a crossbow onto the steering hinge instead. This was the build I'd made out of metal so that it wouldn't freeze, and I was once again lazy because instead of putting proper wheels on, I shambled out there with cogs beneath me, wobbling like an idiot. But that didn't stop me. If I want to shoot a fruit, I'll shoot a fruit. Except that didn't even destroy the fruit, it just made it fall to the ground. After missing quite a few bolts, I managed to shoot down another fruit. I ran over the first fruit with my cogwheel, and then I knocked another unbroken fruit down, which I attempted to run over, but it wasn't particularly graceful. In fact, the lack of grace was extensive.
I think I might need to build a less idiotic version of this.
I put proper wheels on, but I also figured out something very handy, using a camera block attached to the back of the crossbow itself.
First person, that's what we want. Oh, I can shoot with it. That's so cool. Makes my driving look absolutely the shakiest thing you've ever seen in your life. That's way too high.
Suddenly, I was sniping fruits like an elite marksman. It was glorious to behold. I was a very big fan of the first-person camera perspective, which was of course a huge help with aiming.
Dude, that's so sick. Complete Tree of Akmora without using projectiles.
Oh, how?
You can probably do it with just a flying machine and like a big old poker. Let's try that.
I sounded completely bamboozled there for a second, as if this would be impossible without shooting, but it was actually quite straightforward. Big flying swords got the job done.
I don't know why I thought that was gonna be hard. That was so easy. I got ambushed. You know what's crazy about this ambush? I have infinite preparation time, so I don't know how much of an ambush it actually is. They're riding the long-necked llama thingos. That's so cool. Dudes with spears? Are they gonna throw the spears? Let's find out. They are going to throw the spears. Throwing spears all around, and then a bunch of mounted dudes. Are they also throwing spears? No.
This was a situation where my go-to float away from danger strategy wasn't going to be quick enough.
If you know what I need? I need this thing.
I was joking, but this ridiculous thing was more effective than you might expect.
They keep getting stuck in the spinners. I told you this robot was the premier design.
This got me fixated on trying to make some kind of ridiculous wobbly metal dingus robot contraption to actually work. This setup with a bunch of flamethrowers worked to take out the mounted guys on the ground, and then I tried putting a crossbow up top with my new fandangle aiming technology, which I hoped would be able to take out the spear throwers up on the cliffs. But they weren't dying in one hit of the crossbow. I was actually just pushing them behind cover, so that was not ideal. I soon pivoted back to a flying machine approach, with job number one being trying to figure out a way to zoom upwards quick enough to avoid being hit by thrown spears. I figured if I augmented the balloon lift with a bunch of flying blocks spinning, perhaps that'd have the necessary speed.
Okay, it looks like I can get up fast enough. I mean, I can also just increase the flying speed on all these, so it should be crazy fast. Yeah, I can get ahead. I can get above so easily.
I left a bunch of flamethrowers on the ground, hoping that would clean up all the mounted soldiers down there. And to deal with the spearmen on the cliffs, I added 4 crossbows below the balloons. I spent ages trying to figure out how to get the POV cameras attached to each one, but it didn't seem to like the fact that they were upside down. But at least I had a plan. Burn the low ground, crossbow snipe the high ground.
That's the setup. Most of the ground guys, hopefully all of the ground guys should be dead. Start sniping these other nodes with the crossbow, maybe?
Maybe not, because this camera angle was not ideal.
I want the camera on the flaming crossbow, you stupid butthole.
I sort of got the camera angles working, although again this wasn't exactly ideal. It was slow going to get the aim right, especially because I had to keep the balloon pretty high up to ensure they didn't start throwing stuff at me. But with 4 crossbows, I had 120 bolts to work with.
I actually hit someone.
And so I proved that it was perhaps doable, as I made tiny adjustments and shot bolt after bolt. It took 3 hits to take out 1 dude.
This can actually work, dude.
But it was time for some more adjustments. I added more flamethrowers to help ensure all the ground foes died, and I tried to make sure all 4 crossbows were well configured, because I had a feeling I was going to need about 100 bolts. And then it was down to business for a proper attempt, as I shot up into the air with dreams of glory.
This guy might fall off. Oh, come on. This is beautiful. Beautiful crossbow work.
There were roughly 10 enemies scattered up on the rocks, so this took quite a while, but you get the idea. After a ton of nudging about in this silly upside down crossbow view, I'd cleared the high ground.
I think it's just this one dingus on the camel.
It was an absolute headache trying to shoot this last idiot, but I got there eventually, without running out of ammo.
Yes, even with the stuffed up positioning of that camera, bro. I had no idea what the heck was going on. Oh no, there's a flaming fragment challenge. Wait, destroy all the crates?
By my count, there were 6 crates to be destroyed, but I had bad news. The crossbow was not up to the task of destroying them. But then I remembered I didn't need to worry about intact anymore, and obviously all the enemies were gone. So I began ramming into the crates. No worries at all.
Destroy the crates in ambush. I love it. Activate the artifact, the strange artifact.
It seemed clear what I needed to do. I needed my funky spinning car.
I don't know if this is working. Is this working?
Some adjustments were necessary, but this didn't quite work either, because the spinny thingo was angled back a bit. So I put my whole contraption on a hinge, allowing me to pretty much match the angle of the contraption, which got me the result I wanted. Unfortunately, the result I wanted was not the result I needed. I do not believe all this spinning was achieving anything, and it somehow led me to the wrong conclusion. I thought it was inviting me to pull it out, so I switched over to a flying grabber and began yoinking and heaving with all my might, but that wasn't correct either. These things actually needed to be pushed in. The reason I hadn't latched onto that answer sooner is because they can only be pushed in if the sun is spun to the correct angle. If not, then they just pop back out.
Wait, it's rotated the same as that one, isn't it? Maybe it needs to be rotated slightly differently. Okay, dude, that scared me. It made such a loud noise. Whoa! Artifact's going nuts, dude.
The strange artifact is kind of scary. What's the go with the black tendrils of goo nonsense? I didn't get the intact completion first go round, so I had a couple more attempts to secure that.
Karaz village. Lay waste to the village.
There seemed to be no defense at all.
Is there some trick here? Is the monument going to attack me or something?
Nope, this was pretty straightforward. The one more challenging aspect was that it was rather demanding in terms of the destruction required, compared to most other levels at least. In order to see that red bar fill up, I needed to raise every single structure in the village. So even with about 15 bombs ready to drop, I had to be precise with each one of them. This particular attempt failed.
I've changed it to one bomb at a time.
The bombs were no longer grouped at all, and the one at a time strats helped as I floated about, trying to be surgical with the placement of the explosions. I soon had every structure crumbled, but with just 3 bombs left, I was worried killing a few peasants or squishing some watermelons wouldn't quite get me over the line.
You're trying to lure some of these dingus peasants over to the monument, and then I can try and get them all in one bomb. Oh, that did it somehow? There is a challenge though. Complete Karaz village in less than 30 seconds. Well, that took me 4 minutes 17, so...
This is another great example of why I enjoyed the fragment challenges so much. This was a pretty chill level at face value, but if you add the 30-second timer limit into the mix, it was suddenly a puzzle I could sink my teeth into. My immediate thought was that my balloon bomber was simply way too slow, and so I built a tiered cannon contraption, with flamethrowers at the front to burn peasants and any other flammable stuff. As I tested, I discovered I could reliably take out about half the lower ground structures using 5 or 6 cannonballs, and I could get that done in just seconds, so that was a good start. But that was definitely the easy part. Maneuvering my massive vehicle to shoot the rest of the cannons in a halfway decent direction was not so simple, especially once the little stone walls got in the way. They clinged to my wheels, but it felt doable. I just needed some repeated attempts. If I could reliably use my higher tier of cannons to take out the mills on the rocks, and the other half of the lower cannons to pepper the right side ground structures, then with the right physics RNG, everything could come together. After about 10 minutes of attempts, I was getting there, proving to myself that it was possible to actually deal the required damage using this approach. I also cemented that a last hurrah of flamethrower chaos dealt a good bit of extra damage at the end, which was great once I no longer cared if my contraption happened to catch on fire. Oh, and you may have noticed I added a 3rd tier of cannons. I had a lot of cannons. A few attempts later, I was bumbling about in the middle of town. I completely failed to take out 2 of the mills, so I threw the Hail Mary and popped the flamethrowers as I began ramming back and forth, just hoping. Somehow, I actually did enough damage.
Oh, 3182, dude.
And then a very smooth run.
Just so unsatisfyingly slow.
It was an annoyingly slow and clunky vehicle, but when you have 33 heavy cannons weighing you down, I guess that's to be expected. But as I said, this was a smooth run. Check out the precise movements and decisive cannon shots. But I think the key was I now knew that ramming into peasants and crops like an idiot actually dealt decent damage, as far as the red bar was concerned.
There we go. 2372. Move the boulder. Anywhere will do. Let's try Old Faithful, just grab it.
Old Faithful was not the play. Also, why did I bring bombs?
Holy crap.
Speaking of bombs, maybe bombs will do it. Let's drop some bombs. This caused the giant rock to wobble a fair bit.
Oh, wait, I have more bombs. What are the key bindings for these bombs? Okay, easy. Lift the boulder 10 units off the ground.
If you wish to lift the boulder, you must apply many spinny thingos to many balloons. Perhaps this will apply the upward force you desire. The flying blocks were spinning at double speed, so this was indeed a lot of upward force.
Oh. Wait, what? That counted as 10 units?
When I read 10 units, I was thinking 10 blocks high. So this tiny lift surprised me, but I'll take it. I'll definitely take it because that was all I can manage. I wasn't getting any higher.
All right, what are we looking at now? Conquer the final strand. Give me some of that gold, baby. It all comes down to if they have ranged.
They did indeed have ranged. Some spear throw dudes, but most notably, an airship with the most impressive cannon I'd seen thus far. The airship was not stationary, it was on the move, with good aim.
This chariot guy? Oh, the chariot guy's throwing spears. There's a thrower dude on here, okay. So, I think the only ranged Dude, I actually did pretty well there.
There were multiple ranged enemies threatening, but the worst of it was obviously the airship.
This guy's going up to match me.
And it seemed it wasn't going to be so easy to get above the angry fella. It matched my ascent for quite a while before blowing me up.
I've added some double speed propellers that are reversed, so these would usually pull you down, but these will push me up. If I can get above, I think I'm just done, right? Yeah, he's not keeping pace with me upwards. Can't really see what's going on. Where the heck is the ship? Oh, there it is.
It seemed the airship was now patrolling in a circle around the castle, and I needed to stay rather high above, so I was worried about the prospect of trying to drop a bomb on a moving target so far below.
Oh, perfect. He stopped. Why did he stop? What an idiot. I thought I was gonna have to get a moving target. Yep. Oh crap, I missed.
I had trouble hitting a stationary target, so a ship on the move would have been a headache. And I must admit, part of the problem was that I forgot what key binding dropped what bomb.
Come on. There it is. If I was trying to take this little castle full of gold, I wouldn't want to bomb it, but maybe that's not the logic the game has for me. Maybe I can just bomb it.
I had a red damage bar to fill up. Time to bomb the glorious pile of gold.
That did a little bit of damage. Hey, look, I see a gem.
There was indeed a gem buried under all that gold. I figured I'd worry about trying to collect it later. For now, I needed to deal more damage.
Holy. Okay, this is gonna be so easy then? Wait, am I just done?
This was the pinnacle of the Krolmar continent, and it seemed like I was going to blow it up without much trouble.
You have conquered every island, slain every threat, destroyed every fortress, taken every treasure. The world is yours. Why would you want the whole world if you just destroyed the whole world? Doesn't matter, because now I got it. What are you gonna do about it? Complete Krolmar, complete the campaign. I can press tab to get rid of this. I wanna try to get this gem. Just jam myself in sideways.
I had managed to conquer the world and beat the game, and now it was time to jam myself in sideways.
Touch it. Touch it somehow. Oh, I got a little dude. Get him out of the way, that'll help. There we go. I'm clearing the debris. I'm clearing the debris. Oh no, I just made more debris. No, more debris. Oh, touch it. Touch it. Oh dude, that's so close. Oh crap. No, I'm on fire. Please get it. Yes, I got it. That's one way to do it, because I already got the intact. Locate and collect the strange fragment in the last stand. I feel like getting above them with a bomber is just overpowered in every case.
The side with the superior tactics wins the war, and I had won the war for all 4 continents, and the planet was mine. Now it was time for a very entertaining completionist mop-up.
Dude, I did Krolmar 100%. That's crazy. Surely everything I learned on the later levels will contribute massively to being able to figure out some of these earlier things when I had no idea what the heck I was doing.
There were somehow no loose ends left in Krolmar. All the intact completions were done and all the fragments were collected. So I returned to Tolbrand, the second continent, where I had a few things to do, starting with the monk's fragment.
There are the notes above their heads. This one's got 4 notes above his head. How do I play a note though? These guys have red notes. Red notes? These guys have got green. These guys have got yellow. Red, purple, green, purple. Red, purple, green, purple.
I whipped out this ridiculous thing, which has a crossbow on top.
I think I need the aiming on this to be a little bit more gentle. Lower than that.
It seemed I probably needed to play the melody represented by the notes above the lead monk's head. But the only thing I could think to do was to kill the monks with the appropriate color above their heads, in the appropriate order. But the aim on this was too janky, so I adjusted the rotation speed to make it more precise.
Red, purple, green, 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 purple. Was that it? Red, purple, green, purple.
That brought some doubt, and I wondered if I was murdering monks for no reason. So I googled it and learned that I was on the right track. I just need to kill them way faster. On my next attempt, I was a little cleaner with the aim, and I killed the 4 dinguses in about 12 seconds.
Dude, that was so fast. That was in the space of like 8 seconds. How fast do I have to do this?
8 seconds, 12 seconds, whatever.
So apparently the middle guy counts for all 4 colors, which will make it a bit easier, I guess. So he'll count as a purple. Red, purple, green, purple. Dude, that was so fast. Dude, that's so fast. Oh, it worked. Thank goodness. You have to be real quick. Boom. Make the monks in the Grand Crystal play a secret melody. So the gem here is kill the army without destroying the tents.
I needed the intact too, so I went for that first. It wasn't very hard using a bomber.
Oh, I did it already. So that's the intact. That was super easy with the flying machine.
As for defeating the army without destroying a single tent, I first had to realize the tents did not have infinite knights. I then had to wait around and lure every single knight out of the tents. Once the flow of knights stopped, and it seemed I'd aggroed every last one of them, I lured them well away from the tents and blew them up. Another strange fragment. Remember the strange fragment in the giant skull's eye hole? You may recall I tried to drop the frosty sword on the skull, but I completely missed. And I even said at the time I didn't think that was actually the solution. It turns out that was indeed the solution.
There we go. Okay, so I need to beat this without taking damage. And to get the strange fragment, I need to kill every single dude.
Once again, this seemed like it would surely be easily doable with the famous bomber. And yes, it was. Before long, I'd done enough damage without taking any damage myself, earning the intact completion. And from there, I simply had to bomb the few remaining knights scattered about to get the strange fragment, which appeared for me to claim.
That is it for Tolbrand. All 19 intact. All 7 fragments. Ypsilon, I need 1 more intact and 2 more fragments.
This is the first continent I conquered, and this level had been quite hard without flying machines back when I was an infant. I now had a bomber though, so it was easy and I claimed the intact in no time.
Can I just use this thing? I think this thing won't die.
The silly metal car was immune to the laser shots, so that solved one problem, but I still needed a bit of a miracle for these floofers to take a hit for me. I soon gave up on that tactic and added a grabber with a hinge to the front, but I didn't have much luck with this either, until I started with a little shimmy, a little dance side to side.
Oh, that was it! That was it! I had to do some little pivoting. The sheep has been offered up to the standing stone. This would be super easy. Hadn't really worked out flying vehicles properly by this point.
This was in fact not super easy. I didn't realize there was a huge wind blowing at and around the lyre. Blowing the lyre up was super easy, but grabbing the flame and fragment was a mission. But I eventually positioned the balloon such that when the wind picked me up, it shot me straight into the fragment I needed to grab.
There we go. That is 100% of Ypsilon done. I've got 1 more intact challenge to go and that's it.
The continent of Valfrost did have just 1 more intact challenge for me. What I didn't realize is that this is possibly the most difficult challenge in the entire game. Revolving the big, silly, spinny monument without taking any damage.
I think that's it, right? Oh, that's why I didn't get intact, because it explodes right at the end. I totally forgot that's why I didn't get intact. How the heck do I do that then?
How do you beat a level without taking damage if that level pulses a damaging shockwave at you just before it ends? All I could think of was to be as far away from the shockwave as possible, and the only way I could think of to keep my distance was by turning the final piece using water. This actually worked, but I was still pretty close, and I took 4 damage before the completion was registered. I added even more water cannons, hoping that would get me more distance, but no. So I did some research and learned something new. There's a pin tool that I'd never experimented with, and it allows you to pin blocks in place. Pinning a floating cannon and aiming precisely with the correct rotation, I was able to shoot with the hope that maybe the force of a cannonball would rotate the monolith. But no. I then stole an idea offline, a way to easily light the flames. I had pinned crossbows shooting through angled flamethrower blasts, meaning that some of the bolts that shot caught on fire and then hit the wood of the standing braziers, lighting them up. However, the guy I stole this idea from had used these in conjunction with harpoons, which can shoot and grab. He'd used the harpoons to latch on with a rope attached, and from there he could rotate the monolith. I did not have access to harpoons because it's a DLC only piece and I did not have the DLC. But it sparked an idea, because I did have ropes and winches available.
If I do this for the final one, maybe when it pops off, I'm fine because I'm in the air.
I made use of those crossbow flame and bolt devices to get the flames lit, which meant I didn't have to have flames awkwardly hanging off my ship. I did the top and bottom using my giant poker grabber, and then it was down to the winch.
Unspooling the winch to give myself some slack. Can deconnect the decoupler and start moving. I don't know how much slack I want, but I want to be far away from the blast, I guess. And now if I just get on the move, come on. Come on. Come on. Yes! No damage! I mean, there was some damage after the fact. It sucks you in. That's crazy shockwave. That was sick. That's the completionist, baby. All secondary objectives. That's a huge one.
This last intact took me ages, but once the winch came into play, it wasn't so bad after all. And with that, all the levels and all the level challenges were done. But it was time to get the rest of the achievements.
Complete a level with an adjusted block count of 6 or less. I have 1 automatically because of this thing.
Your block count is the red number up there, but your adjusted block count is the smaller gray number in the corner next to it.
Guess what has a block count of 6?
I used the flame crossbow contraption to burn down the cottage on the very first level of the game, but the achievement did not come.
Where's my achievement? Oh, extra cost based on the power of the block. Oh, this counts as 12 blocks. Oh, what the heck?
So this had been 6 individual blocks, but some of the pieces had a higher block value. I needed something way simpler to get this done. I next pinned the start block at an angle, and had a boulder drop and bounce off in the direction of the cottage, but that did not deal enough damage. So I tried with a grenade instead, which I could detonate with a keybind.
Roll! Roll grenade! Wait, what's worth 7? Grenade's worth 2, isn't it? Oh, the pin's worth heaps. The pin's the only reason it goes that way. No, that works. That works. Here we go. Beautiful. Complete a level with a machine of 6 block points or less. Yeah, I didn't realize the pin was worth 8. It's kind of brutal. Pins are pretty OP. They're OP as I figured out in the last 2 seconds of the playthrough.
I next found a level with lightning storms. I hovered into position and got myself struck. Another achievement for getting hit by lightning. And while I was here, I figured I might as well float up forever. This took way longer than I was thinking. I ascended for a full 5 minutes before finally it got a little cold.
Finally. That was a long time. Presumably I'm falling now, but you can... Wait, am I falling? Or am I just frozen? I can't tell if I'm falling. Oh yeah, I'm falling.
That was the achievement, to reach a high enough altitude to freeze my machine. And next I needed to beat a level without pressing a button. It seemed using some automation was the way to go.
But now I've got this timer that's going to go automatically. It's going to wait 8 seconds and then it'll press K for me. So I'm not going to be pressing any buttons. It's going to happen automatically, theoretically. There doesn't seem to be any friction. It just keeps rolling. Oh, it's kind of gone too far away now. No, we're good.
But that did not get the achievement. I didn't press the key, the timer did for me. But even that does count as technically pressing a key. My next idea was to put spinners on a dodgy car with a bomb at the front. That got the job done, no keys pressed, just an explosive auto roller. I then needed to do some custom build and Steam Workshop achievements. So I fired up the level editor and placed heaps of chickens.
Here we go, here we go. We got the Sparrowhawk. Dude, who designed this? This is cool.
That was the achievement for downloading someone else's machine on the Steam Workshop. And this contraption was indeed very cool.
How do they do this?
I then added even more nonsense to my level.
These guys are just attacking the chickens? This level's all good. They're attacking the chickens. How do I save it? I hate chickens.
I officially saved the level to the Steam Workshop, earning another achievement. For the next one, I needed to beat someone else's level.
What? How the heck did they make this? That is so sick. Some people are so clever. My incredibly hideous blimp does not belong here.
I added a lot to the scene with my silly blimp, but this wasn't actually a beatable level because there was no objective. So even though it was unbelievably cool, it couldn't actually help me with the achievement. This level was beatable. All I had to do was destroy the little wooden fortress. And for the final achievement, I needed to upload one of my machines. I felt like the most useful thing I'd made was pretty obvious.
There we go. I uploaded the glorious revolving monolith solution. If you're watching, you can go download this.
I even wrote instructions, so any punters out there will be able to use this to get the revolving monolith done intact.
There you go. I even put a long-winded comment. I'm a dedicated member of the Besiege community. What can I say? There's only DLC achievements beyond that, so I am done. Complete. What a very cool game.
Besiege took roughly 23 hours to 100%, if you're curious. A very cool game indeed. Do not forget, War Thunder is free to play on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and mobile devices. Click the links below to sign up, and for a limited time only, new and returning players on PC and consoles who haven't played in the last 6 months get a juicy free bonus pack, including exclusive vehicle decorator, Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account.